to another episode of the BigAsp Cornhole podcast. Sean and Dane are with you once again.
That we are, man. Once again.
How you doing?
Hey, it's a Tuesday. We're recording. We got
Liking
beer.
Liking that hat?
Thanks. I like your hat, too.
Thanks, man. Shout out to Stovepipe Cornhole.
Yeet, yeet.
Our boys Brandon Jones and Duncan Clemmer.
Hell yeah,
Coming
man.
out with some fire material here, so it looks nice.
Looking
looks nice.
sexy.
And good quality. I like the
yeah.
hats. Very nice stuff. So.
Heck yeah.
All right, well, let's not waste any more time. I am very parched. So, Dane, do what you do. Let the folks know what we're sipping on at home in a segment we call What You Drinking.
What you drinking?
As always, these beers are brought to you by Local Bags. Do you need some cornhole bags? They have stuff that will fit anything from a fast player's game to a slow player's game and all in between. Visit localbagcompany.com and grab yourself a set. And honestly, underrated on their designs. I'm sorry, but...
Why don't you ever see local bags being like sold on the open market?
Because you get them within... 3-4 days?
Well, and
Easy?
when you get them, people want to keep them because
Exactly.
they're good quality bags. And I will say, if you're like a slick bag player, or you're looking for something kind of like in that medium, maybe just a touch slower than like an all slide, the Outlaw, I'm becoming a huge fan of. Their new fill in it, fantastic.
And I've been throwing... I like the Champion, but I'm starting to get a little bit more into the Challenger a little bit.
Yep.
I like that bag a lot, and it's very, very slinky carpet-style bag, so... Yeah, if you're looking for bags, local bag companies, you won't have to wait. They'll be at your doorstep because they're local, baby.
So www.localbagcompany.com.
Hells yeah.
What are we drinking?
Well, Sean, we're keeping it local ourselves with the beer of choice here. So,
Good choice today.
Masthead Brewing Company came out with another banger. This one's called Wet Work. It's a fresh hop double IPA. And you can feel that they are fresh hops, man. It just kind of
So good.
hit you right in the face. Let's see, what is this boy's percentage? 8.0%. Man, it's Pacific Northwest hops. Ooh, they went, reached out far for those bad boys. But Masthead Brewing, it's one of the great breweries out this way, and came out with another banger, man. Go check out Wet Work.
All right, Cornhole family, we have another excellent episode for you all today. We're going to touch on some news and results from around the ACL. We have bags to review. We're going to reviewing the newest bags by WTF Cornhole, and then we're going to be joined by several members of the WTF Cornhole team, owner of WTF Cornhole, Taylor Stone. We have team member Dillon Turpin, Michael Lucas Jr., and Michael Dingus. But before we jump into all that, what's going to bring you what's going on in our cornhole lives in the segment we call In and Around the Hole.
Brought to you by Airwolf Athletics, helping athletes become the alpha in all aspects of life. Join the pack today. If you use code BIGASP10, you get your 10% off, and that's airwolfathletics.com.
At this point in your cornhole life, if you haven't added a set of the sexiest bags around, you're doing something wrong. That's right, folks. Blackjack Cornhole. It's 2021. 21 is the year of Blackjack Cornhole. So stop what you're doing. Grab yourself a set of Blackjack Cornhole bags at blackjackcornhole.com. Code BIGASP will save you 10%. All right, before we go any further,
Yes.
we had a little mishap last week. To all of our faithful listeners, we got hit up many times on Messenger. We were doing a contest, and today is the last day of this contest. We were supposed to say a secret word or phrase last week, and we
Hey,
had
you
a lot
guys
of
caught
beers.
it. We were testing you.
Yeah,
All right?
that's
we were
what
testing
it was.
you. Yep.
But we had too many beers, and we kind of skipped right over it. So
It was a long night. All
we're
right?
going to reveal 2 words or phrases this week. All right. If you've listened to the first, go back not last week's episode, the week before, and you'll hear the first word or phrase.
We're not going to say it here. Sean, don't say it.
I'm not going to say it. So we're going to have 2 parts of this episode. We're going to reveal the second and third that you need to know if you want to be eligible for these prizes, and we're going to announce the prizes next week, have the contest. So Dane, go ahead and roll with the second phrase here.
So it's going OG.
OG, first episode.
Original episode. Had a little phrase there to depict how the beer was making us feel, and that is tickle your pickle. All right, so that is the phrase. Tickle your pickle.
Boom.
All right.
All right. So, you get a chance to throw it all this week. I wasn't going to bring it up because you literally told me, like,
Yeah.
hey, I didn't want to talk about it, but just, hey, listen, be real with people.
I mean, you
struggled.
Oh, dude. I mean, the struggle was far beyond. It might have been the worst throwing I've ever had. Like, have you ever had one of those days where it doesn't matter what's in front of you. You want to punch it.
Yeah.
That's how bad I was throwing. Like, I mean, it could have been a little baby there, like all cute.
Was it
just wanted to punch it in the face.
physical hitch, or was it more of like a mental?
100% mental.
Yeah.
I just like I don't know. I actually had like good practice for a change, and I don't know if that was to my detriment. Apparently, it was because I came into league like feeling high and mighty, and then yeah, sure. I mean, first game I threw okay, and then after that it was a steep decline, and then the last two games we switched bags, and it was a steep incline. But I mean, it was only a steep incline because of how steep the decline was. So yeah, it was not a fun night. I mean, it was fun. I got to throw bags and have some beers, but I mean, man, I was just.
We've all been there.
Yeah,
We've all had those nights where just nothing seems to go right.
Yeah,
you think you're throwing well, and just the bags are not falling. I've been there plenty of times.
Yeah, and like it was disappointing too, because like I wasn't worried about work or anything. Like home life was doing all right. Like I was like happy to be there, and maybe I was just too relaxed. Maybe I just need a little agitation, to make me throw a little bit better. I don't know.
I basically have not done shit. I was pretty familiar with these bags. I've thrown them a bunch at league and stuff like that. I know I've kind of touched on the fact that I'm a big fan of 2 out of 3 of these bags.
Yeah.
All 3 bags are very good, but 2 out of 3 I was a big fan of. Threw very minimally this week. I had a dad duty pretty much all weekend. I had the kids Friday and then Saturday. Mm-hmm. And the wife worked on Sunday, so I had them for like 90% of the day. And then
to me, you get a free cornhole weekend coming up then, right?
God, man. I need it bad. Like I was talking to you about before we started recording.
Yeah.
And actually, I was listening to the Dogcast episode today. They actually, it's a great episode. They had Sean Latham on, and Brendan was talking about. It was something that me and him had many conversations about last year through the pandemic when we weren't throwing that much. Sometimes if you're not throwing and you're not playing the game, it starts being not fun to talk about. And I'm at that point right now. Like I need to get out and play more, or I'm gonna lose it. And the part that sucks is the weather is gonna get really shitty. So I just need to get my boards out more at work. Try to get there a few minutes early to start throwing again.
Are you watching the kids this Sunday?
No, I don't think so.
Well, if not, maybe we go watch the Browns game at D&B. Get some throwing in up there.
I do have the kids. I forgot Val's out of town Saturday all day, and she's not getting back till Sunday after their nap. So.
Maybe we could see if maybe the parental units can help out.
Listen, so if you're young and you don't have kids.
Cherish these moments.
Oh, that's what I meant. No, it's just tough right now, and I just it's a time of the year where the weather's starting to turn. The part that sucks is that when it's summer out, I put my kids to bed. It's still light out. I can still go out and throw for an hour or two, and I would do that almost every night.
And you're driving home in the dark.
Dude, it's just miserable, man. So
we're the worst spot of the country for daylight savings. I mean, it is dark at I'm getting out of work at 5, and the sun is down.
It's just been rough. So I need to kind of get out of this funk. I just need to get out and play. Even if I loved those 2 weeks I got to fill in for league. Like if I can do that once a month, I'm pretty good. You know what I mean? Like I can.
Hey, all you gotta do is ask, man. I'll forfeit some of these times throwing. So, not this week though. I need redemption.
I know. All right, so let's go ahead and the first thing I want to talk about was just a little quick ACL or cornhole action recap of this past weekend. So this past weekend was the Midwest Cornhole or the conference championships, and one mini individual had one fucking killer weekend. All right, he's an ACL
mini, but
pro,
he stands tall.
ACL pro, junior, Alex Hicks. This kid didn't just win juniors. He didn't win just advanced doubles. The kid also won advanced singles. If that's not a stamp on watch out for me this year. I mean, we already knew that going out of all the junior players, he might have been the best.
Right? Is he really only 10?
He's like 10, 11, yeah.
Jeez. He actually looks older than that.
What were you doing when you were 10 years old? Could you imagine being that good at something and dominating adults that actually care about this?
I wasn't dominating adults, but I was dominating kids my own age and older in baseball.
But you know what I mean, though? It's can you imagine being 10 years old, walking up, and some 50-year-old dude's I'm going to crush this motherfucker, and then you're smiling, skipping down to the next board, and you're just having fun, and you're just so good at something at that young age. I want to see what's going to happen, because obviously cornhole seems like it's switching, and it's becoming a younger kid's game, right? Mm-hmm. We're young. I mean, obviously we've seen Trevor and his brother 5 years old, 6 years old, and they're amazing players. We have guys like Alex Hicks. We have the Gore brothers who are 12. I want to see what happens as they get older, as they start to get bigger. Are they going to be even that much better?
Well,
Or do they lose interest because they're going to get bored because they're already fucking amazing at it?
Well, luckily, I think the level of competition is always going to be there because the way the sport is, I mean, it's so hard to dominate it.
It's crazy. It's sad
I think
to think about.
we did touch on this with Anthony Ione, though, about the younger kids actually having an easier time landing a bag on the board because of their trajectory.
Correct.
My question is, once they finally hit that growth spurt and they become, close to 6 feet tall, is that going to mess them up?
I don't think so. Only because unless they have like this huge lapse in playing.
Yeah, they're going to
be growing. If they go from playing like when they're 10, 11, and then they take 5, 6, 7 years off, and then they go back to it. Yeah, maybe there is a little bit of a hiccup.
Yeah.
But if they stick with it all the way through and they're throwing as their body's growing, it's a scary thought to think.
I fully agree with you.
These kids are going to be.
To me, it gives them the chance now to hit that like 3-bag push that maybe they can't hit now because they're just not having the right angle throwing a bag. But yeah, I mean, the youth movement in this game right now is, it's impressive.
Alex Hicks is going to make noise at least one of these nationals.
Oh,
I think he's going to make a deep run.
He's going to mess up some betting pools for sure.
Correct. So I'm going to be very interested. He's going to be one to watch out for. If you haven't seen him throw, the kid just plays with no fear.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's an airmail to be had, he's going to throw it. Doesn't even think about it.
To me, it looks like he started off just throwing airmails because his airmail is so good.
Yeah, he's super, super impressed. All right. So moving on from there, Battle of the Queens event was held. So it was an all-female event. Doubles was won by Renner and Cassidy, and they beat Hunter and Maupin. To me, it makes sense. Like, if I were to come out, like, and I know, like, Trey and Mike Morton and Anthony came out with their top 5. Yeah. I completely agree with Anthony Ione's rankings. So if you're bored and you go on American Cornhole or you're on social media, go check out. They had a post on there where all 3 of them listed their top 5. I agreed. Like, my top 5 would be the same as how Anthony Ione ranked them.
Yeah.
And he has these one too. That's how I think of it. I think Rosie Streaker and Sam Finley are right there in 3, like in that 3 spot. Yeah. But I think there's other teams to consider that not all of the I'm like stumbling here. The teams that I'm going to name now were not unanimous on all 3 rankings. Okay,
but
other teams that are
show up in there easily.
And I think I wouldn't be surprised. Correct. So like teams like Altus and Duel. I think they're going to make some noise. Hey, Lori Duel came bursting onto the scene last year.
And we've seen Altus in our area, and she is very good. Man, she is very
Connie
good.
Is very, very good. You have Belvin and Bella. They're one of those teams that is bag selection
dependent.
Correct.
I agree.
Because Belvin primarily has been, for the most part, a slicker
bag. Yeah.
Bella likes to throw more of like a carpet type bag.
Belvin can still do well with carpet because she carries the bag so deep on the board.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. I mean, she's the level of player that she can throw whatever and she's gonna be good. But when you get to that level, and a lot of these top female players, if you're looking, Renner and Cassidy definitely play with the slick bag.
Yeah.
Hunter and Maupin, they are. They're gonna be interesting to watch. I think that they're my surprise team. I think everyone expects Renner and Cassidy to run away with it
100%.
and be the number 1 team. If you were gonna have like some bold prediction, I think Hunter and Maupin end up the number 1 team in the World Championships next year.
We saw Hunter last year. I mean, she went from a pretty darn good player to a great player.
Yep.
In one season, yeah. Maupin's already been there and only getting better. And they throw that sticky bag game it's hard to beat if you're just trying to slide up the middle. If they start messing with that, yeah, I think I can see them pulling out some Vicks over Renner and Cassidy just because they dirty up the game.
I'm a big fan of her, Sarah Cassidy.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to take a shot. I love Sarah Cassidy. She's been on the show before. If you're asking who's the weaker player between Cheyenne Renner and Sarah Cassidy, it's Sarah Cassidy. Cheyenne Renner, to me, is leaps and bounds above all the other female players right now.
I mean, I don't think that's a fair statement for Cassidy, though, because you put Renner with name whatever player, male or female. Yeah, with the exception of like 5 people.
I don't want it to come across as like I'm being negative about her, though, because I think she's phenomenal. But I think that if they're timing it right, like I think a team like a Rosie Streaker and Sam Finley match up very well against a Renner and Cassidy, because you can have someone like Rosie Streaker and Renner who are primarily just stroke, put bags down the middle, and for the most part, so is Cassidy. But maybe you pair up against like a Mop-In.
Yeah. Or Finley.
Who
dirties
likes
it up, makes it more
you know
difficult.
what I'm saying?
Yeah, no,
so I think that there's a chance there where if you can force them to play a dirty game and force Cassidy to go for more airmails and maybe than what she's comfortable with, that they are susceptible to being knocked off. Now, going into the season, hands down, unanimous number one. But I do think that there is a few teams here. So I named off Altis and Duel, Belvin and Bella. Another team, Koi and Koi, right?
Yeah.
The Koi cousins. You have Courtney and
Miranda.
Miranda, thank you very much. They're interesting. Miranda Koi. I know everyone's been talking about like the wild card is Courtney. You know, can she live up? Listen, Courtney's been on the big stage before.
Yeah.
She's been there, done that. Miranda has not yet done that. I think that she has all the talent in the world. I think she's super confident. I like the swag that she plays with. But again, I'm more of a I'll believe it when I see it. Like I want to see you prove it to me first before I'm gonna sit there and sing your praise. I think she's a phenomenal player, but Courtney to me at least can maybe offer like the shoulders to bear some burden on. You know what I mean? Like the fact that like listen, I've played on the bright lights many times. And she's been there. So I think that if Courtney gets out of her own head, goes back to just playing how she used to, I think that they could be a potentially very dangerous team.
Yeah, I agree.
Papke and Roy.
Yeah, I'm telling you what, man.
Christine Papke throwing all slides to me is a very scary thing.
Yes.
Because she is a slide player, and you're putting a very hole-forgiving bag in her hand. And Sheila Roy is a very underrated female player.
She is.
They both are stroke.
When they start stroking, man, they're tough beat. And Sheila, I mean, we had the pleasure of first running into Sheila at the shutdown Cleveland National.
Yep.
And I don't think at the time she was a pro. Maybe she was, and I just didn't realize it. I mean, this was also the early days of the podcast, but Sheila has done nothing but impress me.
Correct.
In every tournament, she just
on and off the court.
Yes, exactly, and she's a great person.
And Christine's one of our favorites.
Yeah, I mean, Christine's another great awesome person, but for Sheila, I just see like her trajectory has always been moving up. And I don't see it stopping anytime soon. Now that you have a partner like Papke who, under the big lights, I mean...
And they're also playing pro together as well,
Yes,
correct?
I think so, yeah.
I think they're pro partners as well.
I mean...
I kind of like that.
I do, too.
You develop chemistry. Listen, you ride or die together all year long. So it makes some noise. The other team that, to me, is perhaps the most interesting, because I don't know how close they live. I know that they're in the same state. I'm assuming they see each other somewhat regularly.
Yeah.
Is Whitney Martinez and Yeti Irwan.
Yeah.
I think they have the potential to burst onto the scene and maybe get like that top 3 finish when it all is said and done in women's doubles like rankings.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see that.
Who is
people
Cup
forget?
Playing with now?
I was just gonna ask you the same thing.
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm not sure either.
I'm not positive.
She was with Yeti, right?
Yes, I think so.
For
last
quite
year,
a bit of the
I
tournament.
think so.
Yeah.
But Martinez and Irwan, they are. They're a team to really, I think, could make some noise. Yeti is one of those players where she's made it to the big stage. She just, similar to Maya Cup, they have a hard time like just getting over the hump and finishing.
Hump there.
Whitney Martinez, people, if you're into cornhole, you've heard of Whitney Martinez.
Yeah,
she's big. Yeah, she's huge on social
big
media.
TikToker and
she
stuff.
was an assassin on
Yes.
the ACO. I don't think that she's going to get recognized for how talented she is on the boards right away.
Yeah, I mean, she's going to have to show it, but I mean, you and I have seen plenty of footage from ACO.
If we go to the first national event and we see Martinez and Irwan on a broadcast, I'm not going to be surprised at all.
Not at all.
So they're one team that I don't think is necessarily getting maybe the respect. I get, like, if you're doing a top 5 list, you can make an argument for so many different teams. You have to make a cutoff somewhere. Am I saying that Yeti and Martinez deserve to be in my top 5 right away? No. But do I think by the end of the year they will be? My gut feeling says yes.
I agree. I mean, both of them have, like you said, experience in high-pressure situations, and that's what it takes at the end of the day. You got to be level-headed and have the mental games.
Okay, so all right, so let's touch on a sensitive subject here. All right, the ACL sent out information last week to bag manufacturers. I posted an article, basically I can't remember exactly how it tied it up. Basically, like, not all bag manufacturers playing by the rules, something like that. Okay. I parsed through the article on Hard Drag Push. It's kind of blown up. I mean, it's probably, I think it's the most popular article next to what does your cornhole bag say about you? While you're there, Dane, if you don't mind grabbing a brewski.
Oh, of course.
Appreciate you, sir.
I figured you're gonna need something to chase
I
down
haven't
that
eaten
crow
anything all
you're
day,
eating.
so I might as well. So if you haven't checked it out, go to harddragpush.com, go onto the blog page. It's the most recent blog that's up there. I wanted to touch on a few points. I did want to mention something. So I guess I'm struggling how I want to address this. The American Cornhole League wasn't super thrilled that I came out with this information. I want to be on record, okay? I'm speaking to a microphone right now. It's going to be out there for the universe to see. I want to be on record saying that in no way did I release this information to be detrimental to the ACL. Okay, if you want to call me a fanboy, a homeboy, whatever you want, that's fine. All right. I thought I wrote the article and put the ACL in a very positive light. I understand completely their argument and why they weren't happy that the information came out. My argument is don't shoot the messenger, I guess. Like I wasn't even like looking for it. I came across this information. I felt like it was interesting enough to get readers. The way I'm looking at Hard Drag Push is it's a cornhole content website. I'm trying to bring people in to read information.
100%.
It was information I got. And the way I want everyone to look at this is there's no other information right now. If it was literally just human beings throwing beanbags at a board, it'd be kind of a boring world. Yeah. Right? I think that it's a good thing that there is some sort of, in quotes, drama, okay, of some sort. It showed the fact that there are thousands and thousands of people that are going to Hard Drag Push and reading that article and commenting and doing all that stuff shows that there is interest. Shows how much people care and they want to see the sport
it's the
grow.
passion. I mean,
that's to me. I guess I'll leave it at that. Like, in no way did I ever go and write this with malicious intent. I came across information. I wrote up an article. I try to put a pro. Listen, I'll be honest. I try to put a pro ACL spin on it because with the information they released, I agreed with it. I agree that ACL, be above everything else, is a fucking business. And people sometimes forget this and like they cry about like these policies and everything that they're coming out with, but like it's a business. And in order for this sport to keep growing, the biggest entity let's call it the governing body of cornhole right now that the ACL basically is. In order for the sport to grow, the ACL has to be successful. In order for them to be successful, they have to continue to grow and they have to make smart decisions.
I agree 100%. I read that article a couple times through, honestly, because
listen,
this was after the fact. You told me that
the fact that I had like 2 typos that you guys pissed me off so bad because I read that thing at least 100 times.
You know how it is with your own writing, though.
I know.
You just you glance over it, but like to me, it's like again, you didn't bash the ACL at all.
No, I wasn't trying to because I agreed with all the points that were in the article. So let's. I digress. Let's go ahead and at least touch on the main points of it. What I wrote about.
Well, yeah, I mean, but like my other point for the ACL is just like no press is bad press. Honestly, like you're in people's minds and they're thinking about it, talking about it. It puts it at the forefront of conversation. There's never anything wrong with that, especially in the situation that the ACL's in now because. Let's be honest, like you said, they're the governing body of cornhole. They're not going anywhere anytime soon. So yeah, no press is bad press in my opinion.
And don't get me wrong, I know there's other leagues out there. I get 100%. I'm just saying the overwhelming majority of individuals that are playing the sport right now, and I guess maybe I shouldn't say that because I know TCL is very popular. There's still the ACO, but across the board, the one that's gaining the most interest from the general public is the American Cornhole League.
Yeah, and
all right, so there's a few points I wanted to at least touch on while we're here. All right, so these are, if you read the article, it might be a little redundant, but I wanted to at least kind of get my opinions on them out a little bit more. The first point was that they're no longer going to tolerate like trademark infringement on custom bags. To me, this is a fucking no-brainer.
Yes,
We've talked about it on the show before. I wrote in the article like, let's say your kid wanted to get a custom set of bags with Mickey Mouse on it. great. You just can't do it if it's an ACL stamped bag.
Yes.
Because the ACL, if they're stamped, they're putting their logo on it saying ACL approved. You can't have a stamp on the bag with something that's already trademarked. You just can't. They're setting themselves up for huge liability.
Yeah.
So I 100% agree with that. And again, it's something that we've said over and over again. Most bag... Now, to me, that's something that bag manufacturers themselves have direct control over that.
Yeah.
100%. You can easily say, hey, I want a bag with this. Be like, say, sorry, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Let's try to find another alternative route, but that I can't do. It's trademarked. I can't do that picture. I can't do it.
And my thing is, there's always ways around trademark infringement.
There is.
Just
I had one of my favorite custom sets of all time, right?
Yeah.
Was a custom set, I'm not going to say the company, of Rafiki bags, right? Where he was sitting there meditating, and it was a trippy ass... I loved it. Like, it was a great set of bags. But it wasn't trademarked because it was a picture I took of a tapestry.
Yeah, and it's also, I mean, it's original artwork from someone else who didn't have a trademark.
Correct.
There's always ways around the trademark infringement, but, like, don't... My thing is, like, yeah, sure, you can, like, trace a picture and call it your own. That's still trademark infringement.
Yeah, so...
You need to be a little bit more creative with it, and then there are ways around it, but... To me, if a bag company comes back to you saying, like, oh, I don't think I could print that, just listen to them. Like, don't try to, like, voice your opinion on trademark infringement. Like, everyone's just trying to save their own
There's going to be
ass,
another
like,
bag company that maybe has an ACL stamp that's willing to do that for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Go that route. All right, so that one, to me, is pretty cut and dry. Another one that should have been, like, a fucking no-brainer to me was bag manufacturers no longer able to participate in raffles.
We've been calling for this for how long now?
If
Like,
this
it's
didn't,
ridiculous.
If this didn't... Okay, and again... It should be known, right? I'm not gonna lie. I like Cornhole scenario bags. All right, I think I even wrote in the article like their fill drives me wild. Like it does. I like their bags. They make really good bags. But if this was not a direct correlation between the information that had been posted on a public forum on Facebook, that they had like the secret group of friends, who I interviewed, a member of that secret group of friends, who told me that basically this group of friends were 99% of those people that were in that group and that were in the secret group, they never even got to purchase a set of these bags because they were getting bid up by a known fucking raffler who was in cahoots with Cornhole Scenario.
Yeah, I mean, that's some shit.
That right there, and again, this is not like a scorch the earth thing against Cornhole Scenario. I'm just saying, like, that right there is what the ACL is trying to stop.
Well, I mean, you're, like, think back 8 months ago when, like, those crazy, like, colorways of, like, Vipers were coming out. And you'd only find them on raffles. And it's like, how are these guys getting these bags? Now, I'm not saying, like, Ultra was part of that, but it's like, clearly someone is in cahoots with them to put these up on raffles.
I mean, okay, I'm
that,
sorry.
like, nobody else can get those colorways.
I didn't write this article because I wasn't trying to piss them off too much, but, like, more information has come out to pro players basically saying that pro players are also no longer allowed to sell bags for more than market price. And if they do, that they have to basically sign the bag and they have to list it as like memorabilia. So before, listen, call it how it is. Last year, before this policy was established, BG was known for letting players get certain custom bags made and then they got to sell them as they want.
Yeah.
Some players raffled them, some players sold them outright. Listen, I had no problem with it because it wasn't a policy at that time. But now that it's a policy, you can't do it. Ultra was doing the same thing, right? So they would give their players pro. Listen, if they didn't want to use that set of bags, it was an extra set. Why can't they sell to make it, make a little extra money for themselves? That was fine at the time because it wasn't a policy. Now that there's a policy established, it's no.
Now, so just to play devil's advocate, so like for the pro players now, like they can't like, could they post up a raffle of like, like let's say it's like a package deal, like have like a shirt. And just to help for travel or something.
No.
Oh. Ghost.
No, you can't.
All right. So I guess my next point is how if these players aren't having their sponsorship money there, how are they supposed to be making the money?
I shouldn't say no off right. I guess it's a possibility that they might be able to do it if they were selling the product as memorabilia.
Yes.
If they signed it, and they marketed it as ACL like pro memorabilia, then yes, I think there is a way around that. Again, I'm not an expert on this. That's my opinion. Based on the information that I know,
you can still throw bags that are signed by a player.
Correct.
Now, what if like that? Let's say they didn't personally sign it, but they had their signature put onto the bag. by the bag maker.
Again, I don't know. That's a fine line. I don't know. I don't
Because I actually think that's kind of cool, actually.
I'm not, honestly, I don't know. I'll be interested. I mean, that would be something cool. I would love to talk to the ACL guy about.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to work on having somebody from the ACL on the show who would be more familiar with these rules, because there's so many questions that I have, and I think that a lot of people will have. And because, again, not because everyone wants to bash the ACL, but because people are interested in the sport and the product that you were coming up with.
Yeah, we also delve pretty deep on this stuff, too. So
correct.
I mean, I would like to get answers myself, but...
All right, so moving on to the next point. So initially, when the new bag, contracts were sent out, 5 cornhole companies were selected for an initial audit. I'm not going to say who the 5 initial companies are. It doesn't really matter. But basically, this information and how it was released was in a nice way saying that going forward, starting December 1st, cornhole, like all the bag companies, need to have their ducks in a row. They need to make sure and be prepared for an audit coming. Which, again, if I'm a company and I'm overseeing everything and I'm putting my stamp on it and I'm getting a percentage of their sales because of that stamp, yeah, there needs to be some sort of an audit. So, to me, they were just giving everyone fair notice. Hey, we're giving you a month.
Yeah.
Get your books in order, all right? Because in the future, this is going to be coming. I don't see anything wrong with that.
So I'll tell you,
you do this for a living, pretty much.
Yeah. So just to help out the ACL's point on this whole audit thing, because you hear audit and you automatically think like, oh, people are gonna get in trouble. No, like that's not what they're doing. They wanna just make sure that there's nothing shady going on, because that will fall back on them.
Correct.
So basically with the company that I work for, I called for audits actually this week from all of our fabric providers, because we purchase shit tons of fabric from these people, and I want to make sure that they're not using it for other companies.
Yeah.
Because they own it for us, and they make the fabric that we need for table linens and whatever based on our orders. So, yeah, I mean, that's all they're looking for, is that they just want to make sure that they're not going to have some Joe Schmo come in and have an external audit come in and then have it fall back on them. Because, I mean, again, you pay to get the stamp on. It says ACL on it. Everything's got to be in order. Like, I don't blame them one bit for the audit. Like, that's, to me, it's business.
I agree. All right, so the last one, and to me, I thought this was the most interesting thing, and this was actually the first thing on the piece of information that was released, was there was, and I read it, and I actually started laughing. I'm like, are you serious right now? Like, this is a real thing? There was a group of individuals, all right, I'm just going to leave it as an unknown number. There's a group of individuals who started a Facebook group and a recruiting process. So basically what happened was a group of individuals started a Facebook group that was trying to start like an anti-ACL union of some sort, right?
Yeah.
And they were actively recruiting other bag manufacturers to join this group. The recruiting process itself, I'm not sure of. I have been trying to get information from one of the guys in the bag group, or the group that's the people that started it, basically saying like, you should probably get your point across, right? Like, you guys are going to look like a pretty shitty light right now.
Yeah.
You guys should get your side of the story out. I understand why they're staying silent right now. I think it's going to come out. When it does come out, I hope that they'll take me up on my offer and talk to me about it, because I think it's an interesting story of, I want to know their thought process. Where were you guys coming from? Why did this come about? But anyways, first of all, it's 2021, right? If I'm going to start some sort of like secret group where I'm trying to go against like the ACL, I'm saying the fuck off social media.
Yeah, it's not on Facebook.
Where everything, like any post can be like screenshotted. Like I was reading this, I'm like, is this real life? Like, if you need help coming up with like a secret group or something, hit me up. I have way better ideas.
I mean, you're better off just doing old school paper and then just burn it as soon as you read it.
My goodness, like,
I mean, as soon as you told me it was on Facebook, I'm like,
I don't. When all is said and done, I don't think that there's going to be... I think there's going to be some ramifications because there were some ACL-approved manufacturers that joined this group, right? It is what it is. I think that
I think some of them joined unknowing what it was at
100%,
first.
yes. Well, or some of them are joined because like we all get 1,000.
Yeah, they don't even look at it.
Yeah,
I don't even know. Like, I don't know the name of it. I could very well be a part of it. I don't even know. Like,
but my thing is, just because you join a group,
time.
if you don't actively participate, they can't prove intent on anything.
Exactly.
So if they can't prove intent, then it's no big deal. But like, from everything that I've gathered and what I've been told is that there were very minimal posts on the page. I think there was only like 1 to 2 posts like on the actual group
page itself. Yeah.
The problem is that there was a group created, and then there were ACL bag manufacturers that joined the group. It's just a bad look to be part of that group. But when all is said and done, like I thought it was a little funny. Like I'm like, well, listen, I guess you make it big time when you have haters.
Well, I mean, 100%.
Right? Like, you don't really make it big time unless you have people talking shit about you. So, the ACL, the way I'm looking at it, is you're so big, and, like, I mean, this is just something, like, just brush it off and be like, we're good. We're good.
I mean, everyone's always going to have a complaint about an up-and-coming business.
I mean, it wasn't like these guys were, like, I mean, obviously this was shut down well before, like, they ever tried to, like, I guess in quotes, like, unionize or anything. But, like, I mean, come on, guys. Like, seriously.
I mean, like, I don't think a union's out of the picture, though, down the line for maybe, like, bag manufacturers or something. But the sport's not there yet.
Yeah.
It's not there yet.
For all you Office fans, I'm just picturing Jan Levison Gold like, just coming down the stairs, like, just telling Daryl, like, you're all fired.
I mean, believe me, I mean, I work in, like, we have a huge warehouse, and anytime that there's even an inkling of unionizing,
that basically sums up the article. Again, if you're looking and you want to get, I guess, a little bit more detail, or amazing artistic written ability by yours truly,
check out HDP.
Go to harddragpush.com, go to the blog section, check out the most recent blog. It's the one that's right there. All right, so let's go ahead and skedaddle on over
to the bag review.
The bag review is brought to you by our friend, Mr. Nick Feinstein of Bagsboard, the maker of the original Cornhole bag backpack, now offering a build-your-own feature that has over 10,000 combinations to choose from. If you need patches to go on that sweet-ass bag, Bagsboard has literally some of the best around. Visit bagsboard.com and grab yours today. Every freaking day, I see somebody post on Facebook, right? What's the best cornhole bag backpack? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Just stop. There's one that came out above everybody else.
Yeah.
And I know there's sometimes like there's complaint about, like turnaround time or blah, blah. Listen. Some people are waiting 10 fucking months for a bag.
Yeah.
Okay, for cornhole bags.
For bags, yeah.
You can customize your own shit. There are literally hundreds and hundreds of ships off the coast of California that can't get their shit in. Sometimes there's going to be some backlash.
Believe me, it's
quality,
real.
The quality of their product for Bagsboard, that's why we continue to stand behind them. Because first of all, we love Nick Feinstein. If you've ever had the pleasure of meeting him, he's one of the best human beings ever.
Yeah. And
the quality of his product is second to none.
And I know a lot of people like to sit on their new bags that they got. Have you tried sitting on your Bagsboard bag? Because guess what? You can. I'm just saying.
Stack it up.
I'm just saying. Stack them up.
Stack them up. And you can live record. Like, literally, it has a little spot, and you can put a charging pack in it. I love it. It's, like, the best thing in the world.
Heck
okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, all right. So
you don't need wheels.
The new WTF bags. All right. So we have the 3 newest bags. So we reviewed WTF bags a while ago when they first got released.
We had Whiskey Tango Foxtrot.
Whiskey Tango and Foxtrot. All right, so we have their 3 newest bags. We have the Bravo, Delta, and Echo.
There's a theme there with the names, folks.
Zulu. So let's start off with Bravo. I'm gonna let you roll with this one because this is again more up your alley. So
that it is.
Okay, so the carpet should seem familiar, right, Dane?
That it does. I mean, this is the same carpet that we had on the Tango.
Correct.
I love the red on this one.
So for all of you, okay, so Tango carpet, just to remind for if you're new to the bag world, it's the same thing you'll see on like BG bags. Yeah. So the Viking and the Mercenary, same type of carpet.
Yeah.
The slow side, however, now the Tango was this carpet paired with like a slick side material that you would find on the fast side of a Viper.
Yes.
This is Tango carpet paired with like slide right material.
Yes.
So it's a slower Tango essentially.
So I mean, you're looking at like Viking-esque for speeds.
Correct.
So you got like the 3-4 on the carpet.
Yep.
Then you got your 6-7 on the fast side. So the difference in these sets that we got compared to the original sets, these came broken.
Love them.
And
I actually thank Taylor.
yes.
I'm like, thank you. Like,
it was one thing that we always said.
I appreciate if a bag maker will break in the bags for us because it just makes it so much easier to do a good, solid, honest review of how the bags are going to play once they're broken in. And I know you were a big fan of this bag.
Yeah, and so getting into it, I mean, we always raved about their crazy seam around the outside.
Drives me wild.
So it has this crazy stitch that
you want to know what makes
it's basically unbreakable.
You want to know what gives me a cornhole boner? That stitching.
Yeah, the stitching right here. Yeah. I agree, dude. So
how
like
small the closing seam is.
Yeah, and he's got this crazy, like, if you've never seen a WTF bag, if somebody ever has one or go buy one, look at the seam along the entire outside of the bag. This bag is virtually unbreakable because of that seam.
So to me, like best made quality bags, like looking like seam work, all that stuff. You have Reynolds, you have Dragon, you have Ultra, WTF. Like those four to
right
me.
Up there. I think I would throw BG up there too, though, because they do make hella good quality bags. I'll throw them up there.
All right.
I know you're not a huge fan, but
listen, it's not that I'm not a fan. I just don't throw their bag. I want to like them.
Yeah.
I want to I'm
winning.
there
with you. I feel like I
can't
just
wait.
don't throw
I can't
them
wait till I can get a set of what's their fast bag they're coming out with? Not the Nova.
The Halo.
Halo.
Yeah.
I loved that bag.
Yeah, it's a good bag.
Love that bag. I can't wait till I get my hands on that. I like that bag
the
a lot.
And the Supernova. Anyways, get back to WTF.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, WTF.
Okay, so this bag, so it's got that crazy seam, and we mentioned in our original review of these, like, that seam is the reason why the bags take a little bit longer to break in.
Yep.
But once they break in, they become melty as all hell, and this is no different. So this is a carpet bag that is, I mean, it's slow on both sides, very controllable, still very hole forgiving. This bag will do all the tricks that you want. It'll cut, it'll roll. I mean, basically whatever you want. It's got a universal
right up there with
small fill in it.
The bounciest of bags.
Yes, it's very bouncy. So it's got a universal fill in it that makes this bag nice and bouncy. So that roll bag is honestly, to me, it's like a normal bag. I can hit a roll bag.
If you were like a slide type player, we're gonna find something with the next two bags that you're gonna like. If you want to fucking dirty up the game, you want to show off to the ladies, you want to drop their panties by throwing roll shots, bounce, all of this shit. This is gonna be up your alley with the Bravo.
And one thing that we've always raved about WTF is the girth of their bags. So these are thick bags, but they do not lose hole forgiveness somehow. It still baffles me to this day.
To me, that's what WTF has figured out. To me, that's what WTF and Big Daddy has figured out.
Yeah,
their bags are full, but they have not lost hole forgiveness.
They still slink into the hole, and it's. I mean, I can't figure it out how they figured it out, but that's probably why they're successful. Yeah,
and we'll have Taylor on, and we're gonna talk to him about that.
So, I mean, all in all, like, this bag, again, seam work is flawless. It's a beautiful bag.
Now, all three of these, let's go design just for a second, okay?
Yeah.
All three of these bags have the same design on them. He just switched the colors up on them all. So this first one, I don't know why. I am a sucker for red carpet.
Yes.
There's something sexy about it.
Clean on
and he paired it with, and the font that he put BigAsp in, I hit him up afterwards. I did not know he was making us custom bags. I just knew that we had some bags on the way that he was sending us.
Yeah, he needs to send us that font.
It's Cleveland Indians script logo, like the script I.
Yeah.
Like he used that font, putting Big Aspen with our logo in the back. It is. I fell in love as soon as I opened the box. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, because honestly, that needs to be on
this
our
is
logo.
blue and red.
Yes.
What do you do?
I mean, design score for this one. I mean, I'm still gonna go pretty high on it.
This
compared
is
to the
now.
Next two.
I love red carpet.
Yeah.
This is my least favorite of the three.
And that tells you how cool the rest of them are.
Correct. So what is your
this
design
one
score?
for me? I mean, I'm still gonna go like an 88 on this one.
I'm gonna go 91.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah,
So I still love
liked it. Performance for me on this bag, I'm gonna go an 82. It's not because I disliked it. It's more because the other carpet bag that we're about to review, I liked that much more.
Yeah.
And so, like, I mean, it's an 82 with a grain of salt. Because honestly, if I would have only thrown this bag, I think it could have been like an 85 to an 88.
So the last few weeks, I have proclaimed my undying love for slick bags. Right.
Yeah.
I've said I've sworn off carpet. There are two carpet bags right now that if someone came up to me and they're like, I like throwing carpet, I would give them two options. If you want me to throw halfway decent, it's either Pro Advantage or Tango.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know what it is. the way the seams are, the fill, and everything, I throw the bag very flat. I don't know why.
I think it's because they're a little bit thicker.
I maybe I
I
don't
don't
know
know
what
about
it is.
Reynolds.
It comes out of my
Reynolds
hand.
is not that thick.
But I'm talking about the Tango specifically. I just feel very comfortable throwing that bag. This was the same thing. I just prefer a more drastic change if I'm going to throw carpet.
Yeah.
Because I tend to be short on some of them. I want something a little bit faster where I don't have to really muscle up on throwing, where I know it's going to push through easily. So I'm a bigger fan of the Tango. With that being said, I'm still giving this an 80. So that's still very high for me for a carpet bag.
Heck yeah.
I still really liked it. It's essentially the same thing as like a Viking. I just prefer their fill. I prefer the shape of their bag. I prefer how it comes out of my hand. It's personal preference. I 100% get that, but that's where I'm going with that.
And I remember back to our original, when we had the original 3 reviews on here, I actually rated the Foxtrot higher than the Tango. I ended up keeping the Tango in my bag once it broke in because it felt that much better.
Yeah.
But then we have the best of both worlds coming up in the next
Correct.
bag.
Okay, so this next bag is the Delta. Now, if you have thrown WTF bags, both sides of this bags is going to feel familiar. So on the slow side, you have the carpet material of what they're called the Foxtrot. If you remember back to our review, if you're like a fan of our show and you've listened to most of our episodes, this carpet material is the closest thing I've ever felt to like a Pro Advantage.
Yes.
Like the slick side of a Pro Advantage. I don't know if it's the same. Feels pretty fucking close. But
it's not the same, but
it's not.
It plays very similar.
I want to call this as this is like a sliding carpet.
Yes.
So whereas the Bravo and the Tango, their carpet side plays as like a 3-4. This is gonna be a full notch faster. This is gonna play like a 5.
Yeah.
Right.
I agree.
This slides extremely well. I did not know when I first busted all these out at League and I threw them all. I was pleasantly surprised how well this slid. And then they also pair it with my favorite slick slide material of all time. We'll call it the Tango slick side because I know Taylor likes to say it, but the general public would know it more as like the Viper slick side. Viper slick side, when you first get it, is a little bit stiff, but when it breaks down, there's no material besides OG Game Changer that's more hole forgiving. You pair these two materials up, a sliding, very hole friendly carpet material with this Viper slick side, you have a winner in my book, man. Like this is gonna be very popular with a lot of people.
Oh yeah.
The nice thing about this is that you can still do all the things you want to do with carpet, but if you keep it flat, it's gonna slide. It's not gonna kick and hop quite as much as the other ones, but you can still cut a little bit. So again, I don't throw a tip. I throw like a reverse cut.
To me,
my
it's
natural
more...
bag will go kick left to right.
Yeah.
So I always judge a bag where how much is it going to grab the board with how much I feel like I can go around a bag going left to right. Where I know the very popular thing is going right to left for a righty player. I don't fight anymore. I stopped trying to throw it. It was fucking me up. So I just said, just stick with your natural. Just go back to a lazy, try not to go throw it perfectly flat. Throw it with that little natural edge with my left side of the corner down.
Yeah.
Right side leaning up.
Get you a nice
and it's going to get that left to right kick. I play that very well. This bag will still do that.
To me, like I think it's more. Yeah, it'll still like give you that little cut. I think it's more actually of a bounce bag.
It can
because of that fill in it.
It can,
so like, but it's a very true carpet to me. Like the best way to describe this is if you're a carpet thrower and you start getting those little kicks left, kicks right. This is the bag that gives you the confidence to throw carpet, but still not lose any hole friendliness.
Correct.
And it eliminates that kick when you don't want it.
Correct.
Like you can throw the cut bag
because
like you
it's
said
that
when
notch
you
faster.
Yeah, you can throw the cut bag when you purposefully mean to.
I had to throw this at a very I had to throw it a pretty steep angle.
Steep angle, yeah,
to really get
cut.
to move.
Yeah.
This wants to slide.
Yeah,
it just wants to slide. That's why me and you were talking about. This might be a good compromise for you and I to throw because again, I don't like going. Typically, I like playing a bag with the slow side like a 6 and higher.
Yeah. I
can go with a 5. All right, one of my favorite bags of all time was an OG 357. player's material, that slow side, typically is known to play a 5 on like a normal board. It can play up to a 6, and it really can go anywhere from like a 3 to a 6.
Yeah.
This is like the same thing. I feel like this bag though is not affected by humidity as much. This really holds a true
It does
5.
stay 5. Yeah, it's impressive. I mean, it's two good materials.
When I
on
went
a bag.
to the Cleveland Cornhole League and I filled out and that filled in for the league the one night, the nice thing was that there were basically 2 sets of boards out. One set was very slick. The other sets were very slow. It basically played kind of the same. I agree. Same. I mean, there wasn't not a whole lot of variation. I was a big fan. So carpet bag wise, big fan. Again, the closing seam and this design is just my absolute favorite. This is the one that he had laid out on top. So when I opened the box up and I saw this, I'm like, holy shit!
Yeah.
Like this is. I told you before. This is my favorite custom. This. Right up there, if not my favorite, top 3 custom bag I've ever had made without having any artistic input in it ever.
Yeah.
Like, he makes a really good bag. Design score. I'm going to let you go first.
Design score for me, I'm going hundo. I've gone 100 before, and this is up there with top designs for sure. I mean, for some reason,
me too. This is
the
right up there
white
with one of my
just
favorite. Yeah,
pops,
that's what I'm saying. Like,
it's beautiful.
Love
Performance for me, this is actually the bag that I'm going to rate higher than the Echo, surprisingly, because to me it gave me the confidence to throw it as a carpet bag thrower. But I mean, dude, you just pour bags in the hole with this thing.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And
man.
like, so I mean, I'm gonna go a 90 on this bag. And like I said, it sucked that I threw this before the Echo, because I really thought that was the Bravo.
The Bravo.
I'm sorry, before the Bravo. And because then as soon as I got the Bravo in my hand, I started throwing that, and I felt like it was just holding up for me compared to this one. But both bags are great, but something about this one, man, I really, really like. So yeah, put me down for what I say, a 90. I'll take a 90 on it.
So I was 80. I was an 80, right? 80 on
80 on that one. Yeah.
I'm gonna go a little higher. I'm not gonna say like scorch the world, like this is my favorite bag ever, right? But again, a carpet bag. I wish I remember what I rated the Tango at, because this is right there with that, if not a little bit higher. I'm gonna go, and I guess you characterize this as a carpet bag, right?
Yeah, I'll throw it as a carpet bag. Yeah.
I'm gonna go 86. I really like this bag, man. I don't know why. Again, it's the fill that he uses. It's the template. It plays big because the seam, like it just spreads out once it's broken in.
December regional, folks. This is gonna be our bag.
It probably will be. I really do think so.
I mean, unless actually, I'm working on the local outlaws right now too.
Yeah,
breaking those in. I'm starting to like those a lot more and more.
Local outlaws right there. Okay, so now, all right, you can just shut up for a second. I'm going to talk about these.
Yeah, you took my favorite bag, and now you want to talk about your favorite bag.
So this next one is the Echo. All right, this is a dual slick bag. When I picked this bag up and I felt the slow side, I wasn't sure how it was going to play. I knew that it was a dual slick bag, but it's very textured on the slow side. It's got these little ridges all over it. This is the bag that I was raving about the week after I filled in and played with our buddy Dan. I played against you guys. I made Dan, after the second game, play with these bags.
And you were
I'm like, listen,
stroking with these
I told him, like, listen, you're playing like shit anyways. Can we throw a bag that I want to throw just to see? Because warming up, I felt really comfortable with the speed. The speed on this bag is like, I'll say a 7, right? Because I would have said maybe a touch slower, just because on slower boards, it can go from like a 6.5. Fast boards can go up to an 8. Like, there is some variability. Now, I will say, Taylor said as this bag breaks in, it becomes slower. So maybe it trends downward towards more like that 6.5. How I threw it, again, it was like, we'll call it a 7. Slick side is paired with, again, my favorite slick side material ever, Viper slick side, which is a 9. This is,
I mean, you're saying that slow side material, I mean, it's unique.
It is.
I don't think we've seen it on another bag.
Literally,
I thought it was like slide right when I first saw it, but then like now that I have it in my hand, it is not. It is unique.
You look at it in a picture, and there are certain ridges, right, that you look in a picture.
And it's not uniform.
Correct.
Yeah.
So if you look at a slide right and you look at a uniform picture of an unbroken slide right, you're going to see these almost like these horizontal and vertical raised ridges on it, and that's kind of one of the dead giveaways for a slide right material. This it has some of those raised ridges, but again, you're right. It's not uniform, and it's so textured. This is a truly unique material, and I talked to Taylor about this. This is a material that neither one of us has seen on any other bag. He asked me when we first got this, had you seen this on anything else? I told him, feeling it? No, I have no idea what the hell this is. I love that. I love when I get a material that is new, I've never felt before. I fell in love with this bag that night. I threw it phenomenal. I wish that we were keeping track of PPR that night, because throwing this bag, I had to be well over a 9.
Oh, it's saved in PPR. You just got to pull up your Scoreholio.
This is right up my alley. This is exactly the kind of bag I like. It's a little bit fuller, but like you said before, just because the bag is fuller, it does not lack on anything for hole forgiveness.
Yeah, no, it still sinks in.
I would almost argue that sometimes I had bags hanging over the hole, and it was almost too hole forgiving. Like you get sometimes with game changers, where you can't drag the bag if you hit a good airmail, because it's so slinky over and over the hole. You just can't really grab it. I was a huge fan of this bag. So again, the slow side is something truly unique. It plays like a 7. It's textured, and I mean that by like it has like these little raised ridges on it. I want to keep throwing this bag and see if it slows down a little bit. I have a feeling it will a little bit once it gets dirtied up. But again, if you are a slick bag player, you're looking for something that's a little fuller in your hand, but it still plays like a floppy, like all slide. I mean, this is it. I mean, this is right up there right now. This has been in my Bags Board backpack since that time. This is a top 3 bag for me right now.
I mean, I can see that for you.
Okay, design score. What are you going with?
Design score. I mean, I think
this is a green and pink.
Yeah,
and I love
the
it.
pink really pops on it. I'm a big fan of it too.
On the side.
Yeah, I mean it's dope looking.
Actually no, I like the white the best, so I'm gonna go 99.
Okay, I'm gonna go 94 on this one, only because I honestly didn't know that our Wahoo was in the background of 2 of these bags until I got them here now. I just didn't look at them close enough, but yeah, I mean, I'll go up there. But performance for me on this bag, I'm gonna go with 75. It's a great bag, very hole forgiving. But if I'm not throwing it straight, I don't keep it on the board. But I know for you love these slick bags, and I got to see it firsthand. You were just pouring bags in against Eric Anderson, and kept you guys in that game. Honestly.
Yeah. I mean, it just felt very. Again, it felt like I was throwing a tango, but like felt like I just had to take a little bit off. You know what I mean? Like, and that's where I'm in my wheelhouse, where I don't have to feel like I have to muscle up on it, throw a low shot. I can just kind of keep that same trajectory the whole time. Overall, played very well with this bag. So so performance wise for this, 96.
Awesome.
Where'd you put this for performance score?
That was like mid-70s.
Okay, all right.
But cue the rap horn, Sean. We gotta move.
All right. Reach us at Instagram and Twitter at BigAsp Cornhole.
And Facebook at BigAsp Cornhole Podcast. Thanks again to our sponsors. Visit airwolfathletics.com for all your cornhole swag. Be sure to use code BIGASP for 10% off. And visit localbagcompany.com for all your bag needs. Guys, I mean, we raved about them before. Go online. If you need a set of bags quickly, hit them up. Local Bags, I mean, they have everything that you need in your arsenal. It baffles me
that they still haven't blown up 100%.
Right, dude. I mean, they make such good bags. Guys, hit up Local Bag Company. They have great bags.
Bagsboard.com for the sexiest backpacks and patches in the game. And our dudes over at Blackjack Cornhole with the sexiest bags around. Code BIGASP will save you 10%. Be sure to check out harddragpush.com, your one-stop shop for all your cornhole content. If you're new to the show and you like our content and you're listening on Apple Podcasts, if you want to drop us a review, I'd greatly appreciate it. 5 stars are required. Yeet yeet. I do want to just 1 second. I posted something on Facebook today, non-cornhole related. If you happen to see it,
for a great individual. I actually know him.
I know you do.
Yeah.
So when you were coaching Strongsville, he was a senior on the team.
Yeah.
One of my former players. So for those of you that are new to the show, before we got into the cornhole scene, we both coached high school rugby. I coached a pretty big school here.
You coached the rugby program, and I coached a team that was on the verge of collapsing.
So I coached for St. Edward High School. We were nationally like a top 5 team every season. I was probably like the last 5 seasons I was there. I was very privileged to coach hundreds of just awesome guys,
Yeah.
right? Like I had a great experience. I loved it. I miss.
Well, it's alma mater, you know. We
I
know
miss
what kind
them.
of
Like
people
I
they
bleed
produce.
green and gold every single day. Love the school 100%. One of my former players, a great dude. I'm trying to get emotional here. Like one of my favorite dudes, like on the field and off the field, like killer on the field and like just crazy smart kid. His name's Joel. His mom passed away. His mom was a super sweet lady.
Sean's getting all choked up. But basically, he's had to step up and take care of his younger daughter while he's trying to finish college. And I mean, obviously, you guys can think of that situation as not easy. So we posted up. I know Sean tagged it. We could honestly throw it up on the BigAsp Cornhole page too.
It's on there.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
So it's on the BigAsp Cornhole page.
Sorry.
But it's a GoFundMe for
He is a
great individual that's just trying to look for some help to finish school.
I can say this about so many of the guys that I coach, but he is honestly one of the guys that I used to pick up and drive to and from practice because he didn't live in a great area. I didn't want him walking home from school or after practice, after it got dark out. My wife kind of got used to me being late home from practice because I had to drop Joel off. His mom wasn't feeling well enough to come pick him up. I didn't want him taking the bus. Just a great dude. Like, I mean, we're talking like great student. He worked his ass off. He came out for rugby. He played so well. He actually got a full ride scholarship to Notre Dame College. He had to step away from playing rugby because his mom got sick. He had to start working. He had to start paying for his own school. It's just a shitty situation. Like, and he's such a good dude. Like, so if I can help out in any way through this, and I know it's not cornhole related, but if you are in any way, I don't like asking for like stuff like this.
A dollar helps. A dollar goes a long way.
Anything you can do, like I will vouch for this kid 1,000%.
I mean, he's already passed his goal. Like
he
was only asking for $1,000, but you know what? Let's get him up to 10,000. Like,
he
seriously.
just needed something to help because he had to use a lot of his funds to bury his mom, right?
Yeah.
And like this, no kid should ever, what I mean, like have to be put in that situation. He has a sister who it's still crazy to me that she's a freshman in high school now who went to her first homecoming. Like I remember her as like this little kid running around the field, like. So he's taking care of his little sister who's a freshman in high school. If you can do anything for this kid, please contribute to the GoFundMe. I don't know what else to say. If you do, I greatly appreciate it. I do want to shout out Tiffany from Big Daddy. I saw that you contributed. Tiffany, Doug, you guys are two of my favorite humans.
Hell yeah.
You guys do things right. Thank you very much.
And like we said, no donation is too
kid.
small. If like we understand the world's struggling right now, but if you can spare $1, $5, $10, I mean, it goes a long way. And like we said, he's a good guy. The fact that I knew him like without even coaching him should just tell you everything. He stood out. So go help Joel.
Yep. All right. So we're going to be joined now as we're going to get over the serious stuff by the WTF team. We're going to be joined by the owner of WTF Cornhole, Taylor Stone, and then 3 of his sponsored players: Dillon Turpin, Michael Lucas Jr., and Michael Dingus.
Dude, let's do it. I'm so excited.
As always, we hope you throw it straight, and it's nothing but cornhole from here. Wow. I'm sorry.
Sean's
just
emotional
I
right
am,
now.
dude. Like, I'm sorry.
Sean,
like, Joel's, like, seriously one of my favorite kids.
Get
so, like,
that
this is
gun.
really hard. All right.
Come on.
So,
get
as
that
always... oh, wait, no. Before we do this, our last keyword.
Well, I was gonna throw it up in the interview.
Let's do it now.
All right.
Because we know we're going to get wrapped up in the shit.
Fair enough.
I mean, we didn't even talk about that shit. So I think the last keyword is going to be audio gold. I think it sums it up. So we have...
Tickle your pickle.
And audio gold as the 2 keywords from here. All right. So let me try to wrap this up again. I promise you I'm good here. I apologize for that. I try not to lose my shit. So as always, we hope you throw it straight. And it's nothing but 4 baggers from here on out.
Cornhole it.
Later.
And this interview is brought to you by Cornhole Solutions. You need some boards. You need some pitch pads. You need some bags. Hit up cornholesolutions.com for all your cornhole needs. They will answer any cornhole question you got in the bag. You just got to find the answer, and you'll find it at cornholesolutions.com.
Boom. Welcome back to the BigAsp Cornhole podcast, where we are now joined by the WTF Cornhole crew here. All right, we got owner of WTF Cornhole, Taylor Stone. What's up, Taylor?
Hey guys, how are y'all doing?
Good, and we got 3. We'll call them 3 of your minions, right? All right, we got Dillon Turpin, Michael Lucas Jr., and Michael Dingus. What's going on, guys?
What's up? What's up?
All right. So Dillon, let's start with you. All right. So you kind of burst onto the scene a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't really know a whole lot about you until you kind of started catching my eye like halfway through the season. You and Ricky started getting real hot. I started taking notice. I watched a few of your games. We were privileged enough to call, I think, at one or two of your games at the World Championships. We got to sit down with you for a minute. I was super impressed with your game. Overall, looking back at last year, being a rookie, were you happy with where you guys finished out?
Yeah, I think my goal was to be just top 50 in singles, and I think I finished at 30th. And then doubles, our goal was to be top 25. And at one point, we were making a push for top 15. We slipped a little bit at Worlds, but overall, I mean, I thought we did really well for our first season.
Absolutely. Now, how did you and Ricky come to partner up?
Well, so I'm actually from Oklahoma, and Ricky's from San Antonio, and we went down to the qualifier last year, and our conference director Chase came up to both of us and said, "Hey, I feel like you guys have a real good chance of both making it, and I know you don't have partners, so maybe you guys could work something out if you end up making it." And I really didn't think that much about it. He was throwing game changers, and I was throwing a pro advantage at the time. So I was like, well, that's probably not going to work. But I actually ended up on Sunday of the qualifier throwing a game changer. That's what I qualified with.
No shit.
And so I just hit him up afterwards after we both made it. And it's been kind of history ever since.
Now, you guys threw BG bags last year, correct?
We started off with game changers,
Okay.
and we switched to a little bit slower bag to BGs towards the end of the season.
Was that did Ricky struggle at all making the switch at all?
No, we threw the Wizards, and they
Okay.
weren't much different than the game changers, honestly. I just needed something that was a little bit slower so I could hit my different shots that I like to throw.
Okay. I got you. Let me ask you. So, going into this season, right? You guys signed with WTF. What are you leaning towards right now? What's your bag of choice?
Well, I think we both have been really high on the deltas. That's the bag that we both throw a lot. It's kind of a medium bag. It's not a slow bag, but it's not a fast bag. But you can still hit your cut shots and your roll shots with it, and it's super hole friendly still.
Yeah. And I wish you heard our bag review because you hit it spot on, bro.
Taylor's gonna be so happy. He's gonna be so happy when he hears this bag review. We're just glowing. It makes us seem like we're sponsored WTF players. I swear to God, but we're not. We're not. So.
I just whenever we first talked with Taylor, I remember throwing a couple of his bags, and they were his faster bags, and I was like, man, I really like these. And then he sent us a bunch of them, and I picked those deltas up, and I was like, I just couldn't stop throwing them. It seemed like every time I was practicing, that's the bag I wanted to throw. So I told Ricky, I was like, I'm liking these deltas, and then he got in on it. We've been throwing them ever since.
Match made in heaven. How about that? All right. So, Michael. All right. So all right. So you guys, I've wanted to have you guys on the show for a while. All right. Because you guys are, for lack of a better term, you guys are kind of like silent assassins on the board for like the last 2 years, right? I remember watching like a live stream 2 years ago, and you guys were playing. I think you guys were playing your way to making into like your guys' first broadcast, and I remember. Dingus, you could not miss. I remember watching you, and I'm like, who the fuck is this dude? And I thought at the time, like, I'd known pretty much everyone that was pretty big on the stage. I remember watching you guys throw, and you guys were probably the hottest team going into that broadcast, going into that. Do you guys ever feel disrespected in a way? Because you guys have been arguably one of the most consistent teams the last 2 years. Do you guys ever feel like you guys are underappreciated anyway?
Yes, I do. I feel like, we're definitely overlooked a lot of times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest. You guys are some of my favorite players to watch, though, because I see you guys, and I don't know why, but like I think that's like me and Sean. Like in like the next like 3 years, we're gonna get up to your guys' level. But like to me, you guys are. No, but in all honesty, like you guys are seeing you on the boards. It's like that's what you guys look what cornhole is to me. I mean, that's like, I mean, you guys have a good time together throwing, and to me, like that's half the battle. And I thoroughly enjoy watching you guys throw together.
Does that like
Appreciate it.
I guess like let's call it lack of respect, all right? Just for lack of better terms, right? Does that motivate you guys at all?
Oh, definitely.
Oh yeah.
Every game.
I mean, because you let's be serious. Like, I'm sure I don't know how much you guys tune into like the ACL like pregame stuff and like all the predictions, but you guys are always left out, and I never understood that because if you look back at every national, you guys are always in the mix at every national. You guys are always making deep runs in the winners bracket. You guys seem like you're always finishing top 5 in your bracket. You guys have just been kind of like a very steady staple the last 2 years. Now, I think you guys would agree with you need to still kind of get over that hump, but there's not many teams that can say they even have an opportunity to get over a hump without you guys being there.
Yeah, we got that one game that always haunts us. We get to the winners final, we'll lose. We seem to lose back-to-back games. If we can get that one game out of our way, I think we're there.
Now, what bags did you guys throw last year?
Game changers and all slides.
Okay, so all right, so you guys are sticking with that. All right, so what are you guys leaning towards this year? Because you guys tend to like somewhat of a slicker bag. You guys don't fuck around. You guys like just pour bags into a hole.
Well, see, that's the funny thing. I like the Bravos.
Really? Okay.
Yep.
So like the slowest of them all. Okay.
Yep.
All
My
right.
partner Mike, he's a fast bag thrower, so I had to adjust my game to meet his.
Okay, so we can differentiate this now. Does one go by Michael, one goes by Mike?
It don't matter.
No.
So slick bag Mike, we'll call you that. What are you leaning towards? What's your favorite? What's your go-to?
Tango.
Tango. All right.
Tango, Delta. I like the Delta too.
Listen, that was the bag that kind of got us hooked. And I'm not a carpet bag guy at all.
I wasn't either.
I don't know what it is. The bag just comes out of my hand so nicely. He figured out something. I don't know if it's the fill and all that stuff, but that's the one thing I've always raved about. I don't throw naturally flat bag, but his bags just come out of my hand really nicely. So
I was the same way, but I've totally changed my grip. I've went to the butterfly grip more now, and thrown a lot flatter lower bag. So it'll really surprise a lot of people this year, I think.
So let me ask you, why did you change? I mean, you've been pretty successful already. Why make the change now?
Because a lot of times it affected Mike, my partner, because he likes a slower bag. So then we got on certain boards in the ACL, they were so fast we couldn't control anything. It was either in the hole or off the back, or you couldn't control the bag. And now we can, and I think it'll make us even better.
How did you used to grip a bag?
Just pretty much a normal grip, middle of the bag, letting it hang over my fingers.
All right, so you
Now
have
I
a
would-
full like claw grip type thing.
Yeah, about half the bag. Yeah.
Sean, do you hear this between the two of them? Because it's very similar to our problems. It's called compromise, and I like you guys hearing that. Now, you made the switch to throwing a slower bag, Sean.
Yeah.
There's hope for you. All right.
Now-
Don't make me throw a faster bag.
So you guys have talked about throwing what you're going to throw individually. Have you guys kind of agreed on what you're going to throw together? Are you going to go tangos?
I like the tangos too, so that's fine with me.
Yeah.
I mean, same carpet, right? Just a little bit slicker side. So
Yep.
yeah, I listen. Tangos.
You know, all the carpet bags feel great in your hand.
Yeah, correct. Absolutely. I was actually the one thing I guess I'm kind of disappointed that no one said the Echo because I threw that like that's my new like top like 3 favorite bag. Like I love that freaking thing. And I've been trying to tell everyone like if you were a slick bag player, this flow side material is unique, but it seems like it's going to be a little bit more controllable when it comes down to. I threw this bag phenomenal. Actually, you guys are familiar with Eric Anderson, right? We
Yes.
at league night the other night. I gave him a run for his money throwing these. I at least kept us in the game.
Oh, hands
for a
down,
while.
yeah.
I wasn't the reason we lost
Yeah,
throwing these.
no, it was
So it was nice to see.
yeah. He was on fire with them, and he throws them very, very well. But I'll say like the nice part, since we have the bag maker himself on here, I got to give you kudos because across the board, you're one of the few bag makers where each bag feels the same in your hand. Which,
Definitely.
dude, it makes a whole difference. Like switching between speeds, And I think that's why, like, you guys as pros, it's an easy way to gravitate towards these bags because no matter what you're picking up, it still feels the same in your hand. So you can go to boards that are just slower than shit and still pick up, let's say the Echo and be able to still dominate with it, which it's a huge selling point to me. So like, kudos to you, Trevor, Taylor. I'm sorry. I knew it started with a T. I took a shot in the dark. I was going to say Mr. Stone, but that felt too impersonal, But yeah, I mean, it's kudos to you because not many people do that. A lot of people like to change up their fill and stuff between speeds of bags and stuff to make it try to little more hole friendly. But yours are pretty much same feeling across the board. I love it.
So Taylor, one thing that we
go ahead.
We remarked on in our part of the episode before we brought you guys on, is that to me it's you and it's Big Daddy Cornhole who have perfected a fuller feeling bag, but although you have a fuller feeling bag, it hasn't affected hole friendliness. Is that something that you as a player, because I know you play a lot too, is that something that you like? And how much time and effort did you and research did you have to put into it to kind of figure that out?
So yeah, but first back to Dane. Yes, the bags go from 5 up to a 9.5, and my philosophy was golf. Right, you reach in your golf bag for a club at 110, and then you go back to your next hole. You're at 220, and they all feel the same in your hand, same grip. It's just a different club to get you farther down the course. Same thing with the bag.
I'm actually a golfer that has this my newest set that I have coming in 2 weeks, same size irons all across the board. So I feel you on that.
Yep.
He just can't hit the
and
ball
that was one of my selling points to the.
I'm too fat for that. I'm not flexible enough to hit the ball 220 anymore.
But yeah, that was one of the selling points to them all. Being able to switch between bags and not have to really change up the way you play or your grip or your release point with that bag. Just switch bags and go, right? You just makes it easy, takes out that part of the game for you, less stress, less thinking, just throw the bag to hole.
I love it.
So Taylor, you're kind of in a unique situation because there's more than I think that people realize, but you're one of the, I guess, well-known players that bag manufacturers that sells bags to the ACL, but you also have a TCL company as well. Do you have a preference on which style the organization goes, or do you see benefits on both sides? Because TCL is basically they purchase the bags directly from you and then they sell them, whereas ACL is more, I guess, freelance market, I guess, if you want to call it. Do you have a preference on either one of those?
Whatever makes my bank account go up more, right?
Fair enough. Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah. It makes sense.
Great answer.
I mean, when we first started, maybe, but now it's become a true business.
Yeah.
And so that's just what it is. It's just business 101, whatever we can do to make more money, to give pros more money and make our business more efficient and better every day.
Where you were compared to last year, do you see this ever being a full-time job for you?
That's scary. That's really scary to think about, and I've thought about it. I don't know. I'm just worried that the bag market is becoming so saturated, right? That how's that going to work out for bag manufacturers to sponsor pros in the future when there's 60 bag manufacturers and everybody's buying bags from you from the ACL or any other league? That's a worry, and I don't know what's going to happen.
It's actually impressive that you're still holding a day job and not making this your full-time gig, because most people we talk to, they're all in on it, right?
Yeah.
That's what they're going in for. So kudos to you that you're still pumping out these phenomenal products, because holy shit.
So the one thing I want to ask is, as a bag manufacturer, right? So obviously and you guys can kind of chime in on this as well. In just a 1 year period of time, we saw this off season just go fucking crazy with the amount of dollars that we're seeing for bag sponsorships and everything. So Taylor, when you decided that you wanted to sponsor individuals, what was it about at least these three guys that you liked and that you felt like you liked them representing your product?
Well, let's see. I'll go in order. So we got 7 pros, right? Of course, you said Ricky, and then Ernest Monarca and Ernest Herrera and Caleb Franklin.
Yep.
Well, both Ernest's and Caleb have thrown my bags from the beginning, basically. So they've always supported and represented the brand well. And I was always like, hey, if y'all make pro, let's see if we can team up. So those 3 were easy, especially Ernest and Ernest. I've known them for 2 to 3 years now. We played locally together.
Okay.
So Dillon actually liked the WTF Cornhole page, and then I reached out to him. I was like, "Hey, you got a bag sponsor for next year?" Because I've seen Dillon play before. He actually surprised me one time. He was playing here in Texas, and I was walking down, and I looked over, and he's playing Eddie Grindersleeve, and he was up big, and I'm like, who the heck is this guy just throttling Eddie right now? And ever since then, he's kind of been on my radar. Be honest, I never really seen Ricky throw before that, but I knew who he was. I knew who he was, had an airmail, and he was his partner. So I know they came along together, and where they were at rank wise was like, I'm good with that. Yeah. And then Mike and Mike, a player named Chad Crouch reached out to me and said, hey, I got a couple buddies that finished in the top 10 last year. You want to see about them throwing your bags next season? And I was just like, is this real life? And I just kind of chuckled, and I was like me getting a top 10 team. Sure, why not? I'll talk to them. The worst they can say is no. And here we are. So
glad to be here.
I sent them some bags, and they got back to me pretty quick. I guess they liked them enough.
Love them, man. Love them.
I mean, going back to, like you said, they're a top 10 team. Like, it goes back to that. I would think that unless you're a diehard, like, ECL, like, honk nerd like myself. Unless you're a diehard, like, ECL. Oh, someone's, like, echoing.
A little echo there.
A little echo. Most people aren't going to know that you guys are a top 10 team. Yeah, I mean, like, that goes to, I mean, I think that's one of the reasons I wanted to have you guys on the show is to, like, remind people and, like, to show people, like, all 3 of you guys are names that, like, everyone should know going forward. I know there's younger players that are getting a lot of the hype going into the season, but, like, all 3 of you guys, I mean, you guys all deserve a lot of credit. I mean, it's crazy to me that you guys are getting more of it.
I think we finished top 10. I know the last 2 years, maybe the last 3. I'm not 100% sure on that.
But I mean,
we would have been 3 years ago, but I had a bad hand injury. I couldn't play in Worlds 3 years ago.
Well, God damn it. Well, it's all your fault then.
Yeah.
Lucas' back's hurting him or something. Like, God damn.
I have one last question on the bags.
Shoot.
And it's something that we always rave about, and it's the durability of these things. So, how did you come up with this crazy stitching around the edges of these bags? Because, I mean, these bags, they're unbreakable. I mean, I'm telling you, I've tried. I've literally ran my tangos over with my car, just to break them in, and it didn't do shit to them. So, I mean, I gotta ask, where did you get that crazy stitching from? And if you can't divulge that information, that's fine.
It just happened by chance, honestly. No, it's fine. It just kind of happened by chance. I'm not the only one behind the bags. It's my mom as well. We're in this together. And she sewed her whole life, and she got that from her mom. And I wanted to make bags. Yeah.
Are you saying his mom's ugly?
No.
Rude.
He's here. No, but I think it's cool. Like, you do something different that nobody else does. You use different colors. It sounds so stupid, but, like, it's flashy.
Dude, I mean, it's an added element that makes these bags just it stands them out a little bit. Yeah, I love it. It's crazy.
And the designs that you've consistently come out with have been very popular. Like, I love the whole, like, last year when he came out with the Smoke series whether it's rainbow smoke or the gray smoke. I'm embarrassed to admit that I have them all in my house right now. Like,
You're not embarrassed.
I mean,
He just says that so his wife's listening,
in case she doesn't listen to us, so we're good. So what I wanted to ask you guys, changing up a little away from the bags, is are you guys familiar with the new? I'm hoping so. The new ACL teams format, right?
Yep.
What do you guys
Yeah.
think about that?
I'm excited.
Yeah.
It sounds pretty cool. I mean, I'm ready for it.
Now, were you guys big fans of Crew Cup?
So.
Listen. You can be honest with me. I hate Crew Cup. I'm not a Crew Cup.
Yeah,
I want 4 bags in my hand. I don't want to hand 2 of my bags to somebody else.
Right. I'm hit or miss with
Same
it.
way.
Okay. Dylan, what about you? What do you think about this new team format?
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see. Definitely some elements that got to go into play as far as what kind of players are throwing what type of bags. So it'd be interesting to see. It'd also be interesting to see if you get like partner split. Like for me and Ricky, instance, if we're on 2 different teams, I think that'd be.
I think that's what's going to add an element to just being off. What I think is really interesting is I think there's either 2 or 3 teams that are split automatically just because they're all drafting. So I know Brett Knight and Eric Davis are split. You have Ryan Smith and Eric Anderson this year that are split. I'm trying to think. Cody and Adam. Yeah, Cody and Adam are split. I think those are the only teams that are split right off the bat. What I wanted to, so this is going to be, it's going to be kind of awkward, right? A little bit, but what round do you expect to be drafted in? Listen, again, you guys are all underrated players, right? You guys are all top 50 players in double, and this is a doubles event, which I think people need to remember. You guys are all top 30 players in doubles. Where do you think you should be drafted, and where do you think you will be drafted?
I think. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Dylan.
I feel like probably like a middle of the road.
Okay.
Probably won't go early. Probably won't go late. Might be. I don't know. I think there's value in players like us. I think we're not super flashy, but we all can play really well. And I think that if you get us with the right fit, the right team, I think you could get value in the middle rounds with guys like us.
Absolutely. I think, that's where you win your draft. I don't know if you guys are in fantasy sports at all. That's where you win your fantasy football drafts, man. Those middle rounds. I mean, you can't. They say you shouldn't lose. You can't lose your draft in the first 2 rounds, right? As long as your first 2 draft picks do halfway decent, but you win the draft in like those middle to late rounds. So I think that's exactly where it is. I think you guys deserve to be in the first 2-3 rounds.
Yeah, I was gonna say I would be shocked if any of you 3 last into the 5th round. Honestly, you guys. I mean, I don't think there's a chance. I mean, obviously Ricky's not here to defend himself, so yeah, he might be like the 12th round.
Michael, you were going to say something before. What were you going to say?
I was hoping to go in the top 2 or 3 rounds myself.
Yeah.
I think I deserve the top 3 rounds.
And that's where I see all 3 of you guys landing, honestly.
Yeah.
Mr. Dingus, what do you think? What are you feeling?
Oh, I'm feeling I deserve to be the same way in the top 3, but most likely, like the rest of the time, we're always underrated, probably about 5th.
Okay. Now, let me ask you, let's say you guys were all close, all right, but none of you guys are team captains, right? Let's say you were a team captain. How would you go about drafting your team? What do you think of would your first round pick, would you focus on just get the first few rounds? Would you focus on just getting as much talent as you can, worry about pairings later? Is your first pick going to be like, no, that's the motherfucker I want to play with? Like, that's who I think that we're going to win? Because it's a doubles event, ultimately. How would you guys go about drafting? Let's start with, you've been quiet, Lucas. Let's start with you.
I'd go with team chemistry.
Okay.
When you're playing doubles, to me, that means a whole lot.
Different things. Do you mean you're going to try to keep doubles teams together? Do you mean you want
If
to
possible.
keep bag throwers together?
Yeah, teammates first and bag choice second.
Okay.
Make it fit your style of play.
Are you going to be selfish in that first round, take somebody that you want to throw with?
No.
No? Okay.
I would not. No.
So you're confident enough in your skills that you could throw with anybody?
Right, exactly.
Hey,
All right, I
you
like
said
that.
he's fantasy player here, so best available you got to take, right?
Listen, I think that's the smartest thing, though. I mean, it's funny because, like, one of our good friends, Eric Anderson, right? He's doing the draft, and we were talking about
Right.
strategy, and we're kind of bouncing ideas back and forth, kind of going around with it, and I told him there's a few different strategies, so I'm interested to see which one he goes with. Mr. Dingus, what about you? Well, how would you, if you were, let's say you get the 4th pick in the draft, right? 4th pick in the draft. Are you going with somebody, your first pick, the best available player? Or are you going with somebody that you would feel comfortable throwing with yourself?
If I haven't already got somebody I'm comfortable with, I would look at getting somebody that I'd be comfortable with in the 4th round.
Okay. All right. Dylan, you have the number 1 draft pick, right? You're Mr. Ryan Smith. You're on the clock right now. Who's your first draft pick? Ricky's
Gotta be Matt Guy.
All right. I mean, that's right. Now, is that unanimous across all 3 of you guys? Would you all take Matt as the number 1 pick?
Yeah, probably. I would.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard not
I think
to right now while he's throwing. I mean, the motherfucker's averaging over 11 over 3 different tournaments.
Right.
Yeah.
Take the goat when you get it.
I
That's
don't
right.
you guys pay attention the other day. Trey Birchfield posted something. I thought the kid never says anything, but he posted something really funny. And he posted something like, how do you lose when you shoot an 11? And he just posted a picture of his match against Matt Guy. I mean, it was ridiculous. I mean, that's sad. I mean, if you throw an 11, you're going to lose. I mean, I guess you just tip your cap, right, at that point?
Yep.
I mean, it's unreal. It's scary to think about, too, right?
Definitely.
But do you worry about that going against a guy like Matt Guy? Like, I mean, I'm assuming you guys have all been around, or you guys have played the best competition, especially like, Dillon, like Oklahoma, right? So you play the Texas Goats all the time, right? Like, tons of talent out that direction. Do you guys ever worry about who's lining up against it, or is it all, your only competition is with yourself pretty much when you step up to the board?
I think in the beginning for me it was am I good enough to be here with these guys? And then as I after the first national, I was like, you know what? I mean, it's anybody's game here. If you're on, you can beat any of these people here. I actually played Matt in a shootout and beat him. And so I don't know. I just feel like I just try to throw my game. I try not to let their game dictate me. I try to dictate the game, and so try not to force it. Just let it come to you.
What about you guys?
Go ahead.
Well, if I'm playing that guy, you definitely don't want to get in the airmail game with him. So you go hole for hole as long as you can. I mean, you don't want to get out of your style of play either, but it's tough against him. You know what I'm saying? But what I would do is change it up. Block, slide. I mean, every other round. Just change the game up. I don't want him to slide 100 bags in the hole. You know what I mean?
You say it like it's so easy like that, but like for someone like me, I can't just throw a block of them.
It's like, how do I not lose to Matt Guy in 2 rounds? That's really what I'm thinking of.
Very true.
But I'll say I think there's a way to get past Matt Guy right now, and you just need to look over at him like midway through a game and be like, oh, you're stepping. You look a little unorthodox. Maybe you should stop stepping. And it might throw him off. You never know. I think someone needs to try it.
Good idea.
Mr. Dingus, how long have you been playing for? How'd you get your start?
About 6 years.
Okay, how'd you get your start?
Started by basically got asked to go to a cornhole tournament. Never played in my life, and went and played in it. And had a lot of fun doing it, and the game came to me pretty natural. I pitched a lot of slow pitch softball, horseshoes, and stuff. Pretty easy, and since then on, man, I just been hooked on it.
I don't know why, but I pegged you for a shoes thrower.
Yeah.
Honestly, there's something about your throw. It kind of reminded me of like throwing some shoes.
Well, that's when we grew up. We threw. Yeah. I mean, we had never played cornhole until we were like late into high school.
Yeah, we grew up throwing washers and.
You guys familiar with the game washers? And I mean, you obviously know horseshoe. Yeah. We grew up throwing horseshoe, but washers was our game growing up. And we got so many complaints from local neighbors about that ping sound hitting the board that my mom wanted to find something that was a little quieter for us all to play. So she got us a cornhole set, and then from then on, we kind of just stuck with that. But, Dylan, how'd you get your start? Like, I mean, I know it's pretty big in your guys' area. Have you been playing for a while?
I just hit 2 years last July,
Fuck you, man.
and
Yeah.
so
You're
I
playing 2 years.
do what?
You've only been playing for 2 years.
A little over 2 years now. Yeah.
Wait, so you were a year in, and then you decided like I could just go be a pro at this.
Well, that tournament that Taylor was talking about, where I played Eddie, that was kind of like my coming out tournament, and I had only been playing, I think about 9 months at the time, and
Did you know who Eddie was at the time?
I knew who he was.
Okay.
And after that tournament, I think I ended up getting third there. AJ put me out of the tournament. Everybody was like, "Hey, you need to go down to this qualifier. It's the first year they're going to have it to be a pro." And it was exactly 1 year, so I made it in 1 year. But I got started. I had
a little bit more. Not gonna lie.
one of my best friends invited me to it was a blind draw. They didn't even have Cornhole at the time, and he was like, "Why don't you come play?" And he was on me for about a month, and I finally gave in to him. And I remember I showed up with corn bags. I didn't even know what a real Cornhole bag was.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
And I got obliterated. And I come home and I told my wife I'm so competitive. I was like, that ain't never gonna happen again. And I just start hours. I'm talking like 2 or 3 hours a day practicing for months until I finally got to where I felt like I could compete at a high level, and then just start taking off from there.
Mr. Lucas Jr., what about you? How'd you get your start? How long have you been playing for?
Been playing about 11 years.
Holy shit.
You're like my dad got me started. I'm old. Yeah, my dad got me started playing in the backyard. I played in the backyard for about 3 or 4 years. Then hit a tournament up and been hooked ever since, man. But we play every day, all day long we could. I mean, it don't matter.
List off some of those. I want to hear some of those OGs that like were greats back when you were starting up, because like we love hearing those names.
Oh man, we played Matt Guy. I mean, Brandon Hill. Remember Brandon Hill?
Yeah, we've heard the name.
I mean, it was crazy. Dale Smith.
Yep,
Dale Smith is one we hear all the time.
Yeah, it's a bunch of them out there that don't play anymore that are still good.
Now, I know, not to bring up like something any crazy personal, but I know last year was a tough season for you.
Yeah.
Did you use that as some internal motivation for some performances later on in the season?
Definitely. At the beginning of the season, it was tough to get focused on the game. Had a couple bad finishes in singles. That's why I didn't finish well this year in singles. But in doubles, we hung around, and made top 10. But Mike's the one that got me through this for real. He helped me stay focused on the game and keep me going, because honestly, I was about ready to give it up.
Now, how did
my dad's started in Cornhole.
Did you partner up?
Well, we live about 15 minutes apart.
Oh, okay. All right.
So we play together all the time.
Okay. So you guys were pretty familiar with each other when you guys decided to go pro and everything. And
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay. Very cool. So you guys, I don't think this affects you guys that much. I think it affects. Don't take this the wrong way. Like the super young crowd more so than you guys. The ACL has come out with like a new player dress code, right? Like, or some, we'll call it a guideline that you guys are supposed to abide by. What do you guys think about that? Like, is that a step in the right direction as for the sport to grow, or you guys think like, hey, like just let people be like kind of be their own and just let their personality show through how they want to dress?
I mean,
for me, go ahead.
I mean, I think it's a step in the right direction. You got to have a step there to go by, but you can also express yourself in certain ways. But for the most part, it don't affect me one bit.
Mr. Dingus, I'm interested to see what do you think about this? I mean, obviously you're pretty flashy. I mean, you better tone it down a little bit.
Yeah.
I love the answer. I love it.
I agree. I think it needs to be a dress code. I agree 100% with that. It makes it look more professional.
It does.
Yeah, it adds a certain level of legitimacy
Listen,
in
you
my
don't want,
mind.
you don't want guys rolling out of bed, like looking like they just rolled out of bed. You know what I mean? Like, especially if they're going to broadcast stuff. Dylan, what about you?
Yeah, I agree. I think there has to be some level of professionalism there, and I think it starts with your appearance. And I think your appearance is a direct reflection of the ACL, and so I think it's important to put off that professional, I guess, persona.
Did you guys? We had Trey Ryder on a few weeks ago, and he had kind of talked about this year was all about like developing pros and giving you guys more. Not, I guess, for lack of better terms, like coaching on how to like handle media situations. Is this something that you think, in order for the sport to grow and like to really explode, is this something that you think, like doing this kind of stuff, like do you think that's important for pros to like market themselves and to represent their sponsors and get out there more in front of the media and stuff?
Yeah, 100%. I think so. You need to be able to get on here and act professional and be professional and dress professional as well with it.
Absolutely. I agree.
I mean, I always grew up. I know, like, I grew up as a baseball player. One of my coaches that stuck with me early on was like, "Hey, if you look good, you feel good, and then you play good." And I think that honestly kind of translates well to cornhole as well. And like, I'm not saying like look good is like walking up wearing like a fucking suit and tie or some shit, but like, I mean, at least like shower and be presentable like to the public. I mean, some of these guys that we see roll out, I mean, last season, I mean, it was suspect to say the least. So I mean, I'm happy to see the dress code policy come about, but like, yeah, for as far as like talking points, yeah, we saw some crap interviews. So I'm hoping that some people get a little bit more coaching than others. To be honest with you.
So Dylan, this probably doesn't pertain to you as much because like you're well, I mean, compared to the other two, you're kind of like a cornhole virgin, right? So
Yeah, you are.
So Lucas Jr., you've been around the game for like 11 years, you said, right? So you and your dad
Yep.
started in the backyard. How crazy is it that like there's gonna be $1 million payout like this year in the ACL, right? Like,
No, it's crazy.
did you ever think like let's look back like 2 years ago, right? When you guys first got on your broadcast, did you guys ever think that you'd be at the point now, like where it's at, like with this game, like where you're hearing people and players signing like 6-figure contracts for bag sponsorships? Like, did you guys see this coming this fast, or was this kind of just like you always hoped it would get there, but you didn't know? Like, do you get what I'm saying? Like, is this expected?
For me, I mean, I look back in the day and look on the future now. I said, there's no way that be on ESPN, be all this money involved, but hey, I'm glad it's happening. I'm dedicated to cornhole. I mean, I'll play all the time. If I can quit work, I'll do it. If my wife will let me. But
well, let me ask you: do you think that's a realistic possibility?
it is. I think so.
We gotta get Taylor on board.
How soon though?
Let's go 3 or 4 years, maybe.
Because you guys are the perfect example, right? So you guys are a team that's kind of under the radar, but are consistently have been like top 10 team. You guys aren't like I'll throw out a name, Noah Woon, right? Real popular name, right? His fucking standings aren't anything impressive though. If you look at where he's finished, he hasn't done anything crazy. Like especially last year, kind of fell off a little bit, especially in singles. Do you think that, I mean, so it's interesting for me to hear that you think as where you're at as a caliber player 3 to 4 years from now. Do you think that's a gauge for majority of ACL pros that 3-4 years from now it's a realistic possibility that they could do this full time?
I think a couple of them are doing it now. So yeah,
they are. Yeah. Well, it's a young man's game, right? Dylan, how old are you?
I'm 30.
You have kids?
Yeah. I got 3 kids.
Oh fuck! You're good. Yeah, you're part of this conversation. So but it's a young man's game though. Like you have guys like Tony Smith, right? Trey Birchfield. They're traveling all across the country playing in all these tournaments. Like they don't have like, I hate using this term, but like, they don't have like adult real world problems yet. They don't have bills to pay. You know what I mean? Like they don't have a mortgage, right? Like
right.
I'm not counting them. Like those guys, great. Like good for them. Like I wish when I was 19 years old that I could travel the country playing fucking cornhole. That'd be a fucking dream, right? We all wish we could.
Definitely.
But now, like in our point in our lives, like that's not a possibility. You think for like the average ACL player within 5 years, we'll say, listen, there's 256 of you guys, right? Do you think the majority of you guys will be making a living doing this?
I don't think the majority. Maybe top 30, somewhere in there.
What is it going to take? And any of you guys can answer this. What is it going to take for the majority of you guys to be able to do this full time?
Payouts got to be up there.
Well, payouts got to be up there, but again, that would realistically go to the top 30, right?
Yeah.
If you're
You gotta win.
256th, right? And like even if like this year the 256th ranked pro is going to be a lot better than let's call it how it is 2 years ago they're 256th, right? Like I mean the level of competition has gone so far up, but I think to me payouts are important, but to me it's got to be sponsorship opportunities. I'm just interested in hearing what you guys think about that, and I think that's why it's so important for players to market themselves and get their names out there, and that's why I wanted to have like you guys on here, right? So Taylor asked who we wanted to have on here. I'm like, dude, let's get these guys on here, man. Like, you're good. You guys have been on the stage. You know, you guys are knocking on the door. Like, but I don't think you guys get the level of respect that you guys deserve. And I think that you guys are all good enough to get these big, high-level sponsorship deals. And I'm just interested to hear what you guys have on that take.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I think we just need to learn how to promote ourselves better, brag on ourselves better. We stay quiet. We don't go out and brag on ourselves a lot. We're pretty quiet.
Yeah, we talk to him at Worlds.
I know.
Oh yeah.
But you're allowed to be. Listen, you're allowed. It's like when you go for a job interview. People ask me. I go on job interviews every 3-4 months. Not that I'm looking for a job. I like to practice. People are like, "Don't you ever get nervous?" Why the fuck would I get nervous for a job interview when all you get to do is go brag about yourself? That's the way I look at it. When you go to approach sponsorships. You just get to go brag about yourself. Talk big. Make yourself look good. I mean, I think that's something that I think it's a skill that you have to develop over time, but I'm hoping that's something that's what the ACL is going to help you guys develop with over this next year or two. Dylan, I think you were going to say, you going to say something?
Yeah, I think on that, as far as sponsorship goes, my mindset behind, even signing with WTF was maybe get in with the company whenever they're smaller, and maybe to be able to grow up with that company. And I think that's important as well. You get a real personal aspect in it as far as like being able to grow with the company. Because it starts low, and then if you can grow with it as it gets bigger and bigger every year, the possibility for money, sponsorship money, becomes greater and greater every season.
I mean, I want to hear Mr. Stone's take on this too. Like, I mean, you mentioned that it's it's a hard leap to make this a full-time gig. Like, what do you see in the pro circuit that could potentially make you feel like you can make that leap? Would it just be like less bag makers that are ACL stamped?
That's probably an easy solution, thinking out right off the bat, but it's probably going to have to be something along the lines of your bags have to stand out this much in royalty fees, and you get to jump up to the next level, from competitive to pro. And if you sign up for pro this year and you don't do very well in royalties, they're like, okay, you can be ACL bag manufacturer, but next year you can only do comp stamp. But yeah, because if they want $50,000, right? How many bag manufacturers can do that for more than 2 players with still being able to make money and not, because then it definitely can't be full time.
I agree. No, I think the one thing that you've done nicely with WTF, and I don't even think it was necessarily on purpose, and you can speak on this a little bit, is that there is WTF, I would say there's 724 Bag Company, and maybe Cornhole Scenario. And I mean, I'm lumping you in with these other two because you guys have created kind of a cult following, right? You have like super loyal followers, right? Is this something that you meant to happen, or is this something that just organically happened? Because you have people that are like diehard WTF fans, and they're like, and I love that. Like, I think that's important. And you need to have that core base of individuals that are going to do free self marketing for your product.
Definitely not by design. All organic. It's funny you say that because that's what my dad said before. He's like, "You got a cult following,"
Yeah,
and
you do
he'd see it
though.
on Facebook just all over the place. And I'm like, I don't know, Dad. I didn't do anything. It's
Listen,
just,
shout out to Kyle Butler. He was a big part of it.
yeah, Kyle, Chuck, some guys and other guys in Oklahoma. They just love them, love the bags, and you know, I, I think it's a representation, or I think any company should be a representation of the top down. You know, um, and that's kind of how I see it, and it kind of shows in the pros that I've chosen to represent the brand as well. Um, so just very humble.
Now, are you
I'm
prepared
quite.
for when are you prepared? Like now, it's always funny to me because like obviously the goal for every bag manufacturer, right, is to get that kill shot mentality, right? Right. So Austin Reynard, right? Because he fucking struck gold. Let's call it what it is, right? He happened to get, he happened to sponsor the right two dudes. They go on two nationals. They win it on stage. Put his bags on the bright lights, and they fucking blow up, right? Are you prepared for the one that happens for you? Like, I mean, they're knocking on the door. It's going to happen this year. I just have a feeling we have a team here that's going to make a broadcast and WTF bags, which I still love the fucking name, by the way. I want to see that on ESPN so bad. Just
I know.
I want to hear
I
Trey
did.
Ryder say it so bad.
Yeah,
Like,
throwing W.
That's been the biggest goal is to hear Trey Ryder just say WTF
it's
bag
my goal too. I can't wait.
on national TV. WTF. I'm like that's the ultimate goal, just to hear him say that one time. But yeah, no, we're ready. We're planning on building our own shop. We're still working out of the house. Uh, we've started from selling 16 sets of bags, and every single profit has gone back into making this business, being able to pump bags out faster, basically. Um, so we don't rent a space. We're going to build our own space. We don't owe anybody money, and then from there we can just blow it up much as and as big as we want.
I remember when you first reached out to me, I gave you shit because I know you had already given the dog cast bags, and I made a comment or something about like what I like second place or whatever, and you were like the best for last. So I always remember that. You know what I mean? So, like, I always remember that shit. So the one thing before I forget to ask you, because I know I was getting messages all fucking day as soon as I posted pictures of these bags. Do you have a rough idea of when the release will be for the Delta and the Echo?
Delta's in production now. We're shooting for mid-December,
Okay.
and Echo's probably not far after that. I mean, with the holidays, Thanksgiving and Christmas is the only reason I would say push back the Echoes. We don't want to work people to death over the holidays. We want them to spend it with their families. We don't want them to feel like they're obligated to be here to make cornhole bags. But Delta's mid-December, and Echo's not far behind that.
Okay. And one of the things I think that if you haven't had an opportunity to land a set of WTF bags, keep trying. The nice thing is that you order a set, you basically get tracking that same day, and they're out the door. You guys have done a nice job of only selling bags whatever you guys have in stock, which I think is a smart method to go about. Which is, I think it's going to be the kind of the future model of many cornhole companies, given this new 30-day rule, which I think is very smart. On your
Yeah,
part.
I think they're forced to do that almost.
Yeah, I think I think it's smart though.
You're ahead of the game, which
Yeah.
is again great place to
I
be.
will support a company anytime that does that because I know that my money is not necessarily going towards buying someone else's bags or paying for the material that someone else bagged that they bought 3 months ago. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm all for that. So I've always
9
loved,
months ago.
yeah, or 10 months ago. Yeah, you never know. So You're gonna get me in trouble, by the way. All right, I've already. All right, so one of the questions we had from a listener, it was actually from last week, but I love the question so much, and I'm gonna have each one of you guys answer it. So we're all familiar with Mount Rushmore, right? So we got, I want to know, what are your 4 Mount Rushmore bags of all time? It's not right now, all right? If you had to look at iconic bags for yourself, what are the 4 iconic bags that you would put up on Mount Rushmore right now? Dylan, I'm starting with you and putting you in the spotlight right now.
I think it has to be a Reynolds Pro Advantage.
Okay. Correct.
Obviously a game changer.
Correct.
I'm just trying to think. There wasn't just a great big pile to choose from whenever I started. Probably all slides up there, and I don't know, maybe a Pro X to go up there with the Pro Advantage. I don't know.
Okay. Lucas Jr., what about you, sir?
I'd say the slide right. Pro Advantage. We talking right now, I'd go with the Viking.
Okay.
And hey, I'm gonna put the Bravo up there right now. I'm telling you, they're gonna learn this bag very fast.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's
gonna be popular.
It's nasty.
All right, don't be hiding up there. I see you.
I would put we first started throwing the slide right, and then definitely I'd have to put the game changer. Threw it for like 3 years, and then right now I'd have to put the Delta and then the Tango.
Okay, fair enough.
Love it.
Hey, that's what you're familiar with. I get that completely. All right.
Yeah.
So one of our frequent is a big fan of the show, and I love this dude to death. Lucas Meyer. I love his questions every week. If you were members of the 7 Dwarfs, what would your dwarf name be?
I gotta hear Dingus's answer first.
Who would you
I gotta
be?
hear you first.
Grouchy.
All right, we'll go Grumpy.
Was it Grumpy?
Yeah,
Grumpy. We'll go
I don't
Grumpy.
believe that though.
Yeah, I mean you're a very pleasant man. I wouldn't put you.
You have that tough exterior, but you're a gentle giant. I like that about you. Lucas, you're not supposed to laugh when I say that, man. You're supposed to have his back. You're his partner. Come on, man. All right, Lucas Jr., what about you, man?
I'd probably say Bashful.
Bashful? Okay, that's a good one.
Yeah.
He knows the Snow
You're
White.
kind of are you've always kind of been like that? Kind of
Yeah.
like laid back, reserved, kind of.
Yep.
I mean, I think that's why you guys work really well as a team. It's almost like probably why you guys haven't like burst on the spotlight, because you guys aren't loud. You know what I mean? You guys just go in there and win and do shit, and like nobody knows who you are. But after this podcast, there's gonna be a lot of people that know who you are. So I'm happy about that. All right, Dylan, I'm excited. I've been excited about hearing your answer. What's more for you? I don't know.
It depends on who you ask. If you're asking my wife, she'll probably tell you Grumpy.
What do you say?
I don't know. I'm not super outgoing, but if I had to pick, I'd probably say Sleepy. I'd sleep my life away.
Okay.
If I could.
Dylan, what is your day job?
I actually work on the Air Force Base here in Oklahoma.
Okay. Lucas Jr., what about you? What do you do for a day job when you're not like a cornhole professional?
I work for James Madison University. I do landscaping.
Okay.
Hell
Good
yeah.
deal. Mr. Dingus, what about you?
Run a printing press for Lakeside Book Company, trade books.
Really? Okay, that's very interesting. All right, I like that. All right, and then
Yeah,
if you, what is besides cornhole, right? What's your favorite hobby?
Fishing.
All right.
I used to do a lot of tournaments.
Okay. All right. I listen. I pretend like I know anything about it. It's something that a lot of my patients are familiar with, so I pretend like I know nothing. Dane's actually very good at it. One of his best friends growing up was you guys used to go to
yeah,
tournaments and stuff
he
like
was
that.
him and his dad were a pro bass fishing duo, and they actually won the Great Lake Championship 6 straight years. And got to go out with them on a regular basis. But I have not fished all that often. I'm more of a fly fisherman now. My brother-in-law is big
Yeah.
into it, so I'm starting to pick that up a little bit more. But yeah, I like to fish.
Lucas Jr., what about you? What's your hobby besides cornhole?
Growing up, it was basketball.
Okay.
That's all I did. Basketball.
So you still get to the gym every once in a while, show the young guns how it's done?
I like to, but with kids, man, it's hard to do.
Now, how many
One
kids?
kid, I got 2.
Now, how old are they?
I got 1 12 and 1 2.
Wait, so you have 12 and 2?
Yep.
Oh, man, you did that wrong. You were like almost free, and then
I know you're right. Yep.
Oh shit! Because like that, you were at the point where I wish I was right now. Because like, all right, so let me ask you. So the one, Dillon, before I jump conversation, Dillon, what's your hobby?
Got to be hunting and fishing.
Hunting. All right, I like that.
Yeah.
Let me ask you. One thing that I struggle with right now is we talked about in the episode. I don't get to play all that often anymore, which sucks because I talk about it every week, and I miss playing. But I got 2 little ones at home. I got full-time job. I got a wife. I got a website I'm trying to run. So there's just not a whole lot of time. How do you guys handle the whole, like, being a cornhole professional and family? Like, how do you guys balance that out? Like, what do you guys – obviously, you're professionals, right? You got to practice, right? You got to go to events and practice and find time. How do you guys do that? Because like, I'm asking for, like, obviously for the podcast, but I'm asking actually for myself
desperate.
Too.
He is desperate.
Because I want to know, like, how does I always find it interesting how everyone else fits it into their busy schedules. Because you guys all have full-time jobs. You got kids, grandkids, whatever it is. But you're still able to find a time to practice, go to these events. How do you guys squeeze it in?
Well, for me, my wife and Mike's wife, pretty good friends. So, and Mike's got a building we throw in, so I go to his house, take my daughter. She runs around. We throw.
That's beautiful. That's what I need to find out. That is perfect.
Hey, Sean, you can come over anytime. Let the kids run around. That's fine.
You got a fenced in yard.
Yeah, exactly. They won't get away. It's fine. They can't reach the lock.
Dylan, what about you, man?
This is an interesting question that you asked a lot. It's tough, man. It's tough to juggle all aspects of life and be a professional cornhole player. I got all of our kids are middle-aged kids, so they're into sports and dance and cheerleading, and so
but sometimes that's kind of harder though, right? Because they actually have schedules. Like I have a 4-year-old and a 15-month-old, right? So like,
right.
I have to be there to help out my wife so she doesn't kill me. But like, they don't have a whole lot of shit going on. But when they start getting 10, 12, like they actually have their own lives going. They depend on you. So like, I find it interesting because 2 years ago, this whole thing was not even on your radar, being a pro player. Now all of a sudden, like you got these middle-aged kids, or as you call them, right? And now they have their own lives, and you're supposed to be this cornhole pro. How do you figure all that shit out?
Man, it's just you kind of get it in when you can.
Prop up your wife here, man. I'm giving you a fucking chance. It's like
if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't even be able to play cornhole. If it was anybody else, she'd have got rid of my ass a long time ago. But one of my sponsors in Oklahoma actually has a shop, and it's a mile down the road from my house, and he gave me a key so I can come and go as I please, which is super helpful, especially in the wintertime.
Oh yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Mr. Dingus, what about you? How do you handle the whole work life, being a cornhole stud? Like, how do you just handle all that stuff?
Well, I ended up building a facility here for me to practice in. It's right outside my front door. That helps a lot.
Wow.
And now that my kids are grown, I got 2 sons, 26 and 21, so they're pretty much on their own. I ain't got to babysit them anymore, so it frees up a lot of time for me.
Now, do they play as well?
My youngest son plays a good bit. Yeah, he played some in the ACO when we first started playing, but now being in college, he doesn't play as often, but he still throws some.
Where's he at in college?
Bridgewater.
And what's he studying?
History.
There we go. All right.
Damn straight.
There we go. All right. You tell him to keep those grades up, right? No partying, all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it makes it easier on my pocket.
Yeah. Good stuff. All right. Well, hey guys, thank you very much for joining us. It's been a long time coming. I've wanted to have you guys on for a while. I know Dylan, like we talked to all you guys at Worlds, right? We actually got fortunate enough to call at least one of your guys' games for doubles, and I think Dylan, we called one of your games as singles as well.
Yeah.
We wanted to make this happen for a while. I was excited when I saw you guys sign up with and agree with WTF for a sponsorship because Taylor, listen, we're not sponsored by you, right? But people are gonna think we're sponsored by you because I'm a big fan of your bags, and I think you make a great product. I think I think you've already kind of blown up. You got that cult following going, but you just keep making bags like you are, man. It's just a matter of time before, I think you're even bigger than what you already are.
That's the goal.
Oh yeah, man. Listen. You got something unique going. I think people are going to be messaging you like crazy tomorrow, asking about the Delta bag, and how these guys are raving about it. I've been talking about this Echo bag to everyone I can talk to because I'm like partially bragging because I know not many people have it. And I love throwing it. It's just been such a great bag, and I love the Echo because it's a unique material, and that's what I respect so much about it. I'm so sick and tired of seeing. I shouldn't say this. This doesn't sound bad. We get sent bags like almost every day, right? But like 90% of them, there's the same 4 or 5 materials that are on every bag out there. You can only change it so much with the fill. This is truly a unique material that you have on the bag. I respect the shit out of that. I love that, and the fact that I throw it really well is a big plus for you. That's good.
That's why he respects the hell out of it because he's like, man, I can actually throw it.
Because he likes it.
Hell yeah. All right, so what we're gonna do is we'll let all the folks at home go, and then we'll let you guys hang on just for a second. And but thank you guys all for joining us. We greatly appreciate it. Seriously, go check out WTF Cornhole. Like them on Facebook. Check out their website. Make sure you check every day because they just do these random fucking drops. All right, they're like ninjas in the night.
We have 3.
Actually, we don't do random drops anymore.
No more random drops.
You're doing all announced stuff now. You've evolved.
The pros usually announce it. Yes,
Well,
so
listen,
go follow the
you have enough of my
pros.
fucking money, so I had to stop like buying your shit because I have like
Yeah.
I have every set of tangos.
Hey,
Go give the pros a follow and
yeah, I mean, we know the 3 pros are sponsored by WTF. You guys have any other sponsors you need to shout out before we let you all go?
24/7 Cornhole.
Oh,
Chad
right.
Crouch.
Yeah, Crouch. Okay. He also sponsors dudes, rookies from Florida.
Roll.
Brothers, right? The brothers. So, why can't I remember their last?
Justin Rule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So you guys are gonna be making some noise for them for sure. Yeah, you guys got a good team. I have a little side bet with your boy. He was talking some shit to me, so we have a little side bet going on with Chad.
Who? Oh, Chad.
Yeah, Chad was running his mouth a little bit. Thought I was being disrespectful for leaving Alex Rawls off my top 10 list for singles. So we have a wager down that I think Josh Holland is going to finish higher than Alex Rawls in singles this year. So we'll see.
Josh Holland's good.
Listen, I respect it. He was a good dude. He came at me. He picked me. He got me on a bad day. I was in a bad mood. So I started off the whole conversation kind of shitty. Like, who the fuck is this guy? And I know Chad, and he's a good guy. Like, I know that. So I apologize later. But yeah, we settled on a wager. So I'm excited to see this works out. He's gonna lose, but he's a good guy though. I like 24/7. He's a good dude.
Dylan, you got any other sponsors you want to shout out?
Yeah, big shout out to Midwest Oklahoma Baggers, Tri-City Baggers.
And your wife, because she's awesome and she loves
and my wife, and big shout out to WTF. Let's go.
Yeah, straight.
Listen, I'm excited for you guys. I think you guys got a good team going. I love it. Listen, I like Jason McCannon. I like all those dudes, but can somebody knock Fire Cornhole off the pedestal a little bit, right? I mean, like, it gets a little bit. So if you guys could do it, I'd be real happy. Jason, I love you if you're listening to this. I mean, it's nothing but love for you guys, but I love Matt and Brett, all those guys, but like, it gets boring after a while. So I want to see you guys make the main stage. So let's make this shit happen.
Jason's always too busy to face us off in a tournament.
Yeah, I know, right? He always runs his
yeah.
mouth. So
Yeah.
So it's throwing big money. So we'll see. All right, so we'll let the people at home go. Thank you very much, and we'll catch you guys next week. Don't forget the phrases that we announced.
Special phrases.
Special
All right,
phrases.
first one is tickle your pickle.
and audio gold. Remember
Audio
those
gold's
two.
number 2. Don't
you need
forget
to know
'em.
all 3 phrases to be eligible for the big prize. And as always, we hope you throw it straight and send them with full baggers from here on out.
Cornhole it.
Later.